Hey, what is up, everybody? You there? Ryan?
I was
Hello?
expecting. I was expecting.
Let me
It's
knock
your
on the
boy
thing.
Easy. I
Oh,
was expecting
sorry.
that business. So I was giving you some room, and then you're
Oh,
like,
dang. I just ruined it.
there.
Hello. I was just like asking questions out to the ether. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to Turtle Soup. Oh, wait.
It's your guy Ryan.
Dang, there you go. Sorry.
I
Messed
got you,
that up. Welcome to Turtle Soup, the world, the internet, heaven's only listener.
Oh yeah,
Community
even hell.
supported.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
even
be
hell.
honest.
The afterlives. Listener community supported podcast YouTube channel dedicated to the ongoing journey of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all the way from the beginning until I get my CT scans back and they tell me that I'm going to be able to audition for Marvel's The Leader because of the how big my brain is going to become, or something in it is going to make it bigger. So yeah, there's that. Oh, and I'm not talking about the nice, sexy, slender, cylindrical. I guess that's right. Yeah, a leader. I'm talking about the other one that kind of looked like Raphael from the mashup from the Universal Monsters that we talked about last week in the news segment. Kind of like his downstairs mix-up, but up top.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so
the upstairs mix-up is what
right.
we
The
call
upstairs
that.
mix-up, but we're gonna be talking about that in a minute. I'll fill y'all in a little bit more on what's happening there. But hey, we're on YouTube, so if you're new here, or if you've been here a while and you've enjoyed what you like, or if you've enjoyed the show so far, or whatever,
If you enjoy what you like, then that's good. That's how it
doing
should
it right.
be.
Yeah,
If
you're
you're
living
not,
it right.
If you're not enjoying what you like, I feel like there's some cognitive dissonance happening. We need to chill out on that a little bit. You need to go get unzipped somewhere or something. Figure it out.
Precisely. But yeah, if you haven't clicked the like button and subscribe button, that helps us out a lot, and the notification bell, all that stuff helps us out tremendously, and it tells YouTube that you like what you're watching and you like what you enjoy. You enjoy what you like, whatever. And hopefully that is us, and we appreciate that very much. And yeah, and speaking of people that we appreciate and that we could not do this without, Ryan, we have some patrons that have made this episode possible. And I just want to say that it's the thing, it's the lifeblood of Turtle Soup, the patrons. You know what I'm saying? These are people that have been with us most of the time. They're people that have been. Now we've got some new people, which is cool and welcome. But
about it. No, 100%.
Oh, absolutely. And you're in a good crowd. But two right now, I wanna spotlight real quick. Ryan Bolton, Jake Niehaus. Thank you very much for your contributions to Turtle Soup, keeping the lights on, keeping us from saying clang, and it's nice to know that we can count on you, because that's what you told us. And so, we should make that a thing. We should make it a thing, like in Patreon, where like whenever you like sign up for it, like you have to like a pop up comes up and says, "Can we count on you?" And you click and it's like, now we can count on them.
That confirmation right there. We need to know.
Oh man, I gotta get on that.
That's a little bit like those. That's a little bit like those ads or pop-ups you get for where it's like, would you like to save 70% on like antivirus software?
Right.
Or no thanks. I want my computer full of viruses.
Right. Exactly.
Like Alicia had one. That I guess she got like it was like part of her boss's mail. She's a paralegal, right? She works under this attorney. And he got this thing in the mail that was like some kind of like seminar, some business success seminar. And it had a thing at the bottom that was like the classic, like, check yes, like for yes, I'll attend and I'm enclosing my payment for the seminar. Maybe it says something like, maybe I'm still thinking about if I want to be successful. And then the no was like, no, I'm good not being a good businessman and all this stuff.
Right. It's
and
like,
Alicia sent a picture. She sent a picture. She goes, who's going to send back no?
Yeah. Who's going to do that?
Who's going to send back like, no, I will pay 1 cent or not 1 cent now. I mean like 40 odd cents for a stamp.
Yeah.
I will pay for a stamp to send you this back and say, no, I'm good being a shitty businessman. Basically.
Right. Yeah.
It was like the funniest thing in the world.
Amazing.
That's basically what it is. Like,
that is
can
basically
we count
what
you?
that is. Yeah.
Or the other thing you could press is like, no, I hate the podcast.
Exactly.
and that's what it is.
And it's like, it
I hate
sends
the podcast and myself.
It sends us an invoice for like time spent listening.
Yes.
Like that they wasted.
Yes.
Well, speaking of things we can count on, Ryan, the one thing you can always count on Turtle Soup for is taking steps in the journey, because that's the promise of the premise.
Yes.
That's what we do. And tonight's steps, Ryan, why don't you let everyone know what we're doing?
Well, today we're kind of beginning a little bit of a big step on the journey, everybody.
Yeah.
You know, it is going to be body count. This is Casey Jones and Raphael body count number 1.
Yes.
This was published by Mirage. And the notes say 96, but I'm very sure that this came out in 94.
So there's some history there, and we're going to get into that because there's a lot of things. There's a lot of mix-ups. So, yeah. But nevertheless,
interesting. Our research is telling us different things, so we're gonna have to actually come to a head about that.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Okay, yeah. So this is because we haven't talked about this.
Because this is So this is definitely part of the changeover. Okay. So one thing that we can both agree on, I hope, is that a really great pre-production phone call earlier yesterday and before today, where we don't know what he's talking about, but that Mirage published this first issue, and then the other 3 were published by Image. So this is literally where this publication is where it switches over.
See, interesting, because that is basically the same thing that I'd heard, except that Image did also reprint because my understanding was that the first one didn't make it out. It was made, but like it didn't go out or something to that effect.
That is so weird.
That Image, whenever they got the thing, they got the license, then they put out the whole thing. Like they put out number 1.
I'll, you know what?
Yeah.
During our next segment, I'm gonna double check my notes and make sure that I read that right, because I got a different thing. But we'll see.
Okay.
Anyway,
okay.
It doesn't matter the provenance. We'll figure out the backstory because we always bring the content. But it is the beginning, technically, of Image, the Volume 3 run. It is Casey Jones and Raphael Body Count number 1. A very different direction in comics for your TMNT guys. So
absolutely.
And it's the beginning of the Image era. So we're looking forward to that.
We are. I've been looking forward to this. Probably this has been one of the things that, like, when we started the show, like almost 10 years ago, that was one of the things where I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get to actually read Volume 3, and that's the one that I had the least knowledge of or experience with, and so it's gonna be fun. So I'm like really excited about it. But yeah, so before we get into that, you doing all right?
I'm doing good. Yeah. I this last Friday, I had a rough weekend last weekend because after the podcast, everything was great, and I was like loving life. And my Fridays are nice and easy. I get to work from home. You know what I'm saying? So like it's all good. Later on after work, I go to the mall with our good friend Lex, and we like walk around the mall, and it's like a liberating thing, and it's really cool.
Right.
But instead, I wake up with a wild toothache. And when I say wild, I mean throbbing, I mean just like this whole side of my face. I mean like you can't just go through this. This is just awful. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Well, I've got some broken teeth back there. They needed to be extracted for implants as part of my whole plan. But the thing is, like, obviously you got to save up money for that, right? And like make sure you're good, because even with some insurance, I mean, like you still you got to pay the dollars.
You have to, and we're talking about teeth implants, right? Not any other kind of implants. Like you're gonna get.
Oh
tooth
no.
Okay, I didn't know if there was
like
you put like.
No, I'm actually getting breast reduction surgery, which I mean, so that's different because my back hurts. But that's different. But so anyway, so I'm like, I called the dentist. I'm like, yo, like I'm sorry, I need to get in there, and they're like, well, the dentist is out until Monday. I'm like, well, screw me. They're like, but we can fit you in the other one. So make a long story short, so I go to the other location. Another Spanish hunk dentist. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like, yeah, we have a lot of those down here. Yeah.
And then I go to this other place. And I'm like, well, this is a totally different thing. And I swear to God, like it's his brother. Like it looks just like him. And he's like hunk. And he's just like, how's it going, Ryan? And I'm like, I'm awful.
Yeah.
Turns out, severe infection. Like, like, I mean, of the highest magnitude, so bad.
Yeah.
I thought I was in for antibiotics. I thought I need antibiotics for this. He goes, yeah, I could do that. He's like, but honestly, dude, like it's a 7-day course, and the amount of infection I see, like, I don't think it's going to get it in 7 days, and it's going to come back, and it could be even worse.
Yeah.
And it could be really bad. And I'm like, he's like, hospital worse. And I'm like,
dang.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's like, or I can extract these 2 teeth today.
Oh, that's legit.
Like,
okay.
I guess I'll do that.
Yeah.
So So had these back 2 molars extracted.
Whew. Yeah.
Freaking, like, walk out of that thing at 11:30 in the gauze, just like I'm just like bloody. I'm like, well, cool. And absolutely ruined my whole weekend and beginning of my week because you can't eat barely anything.
Right.
I was eating soup. I was probably getting like about 800 calories a day for the first 2 or 3 days. I was like malnourished.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I lost my weekend to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it was pretty awful. Not the pain. The pain, whatever. Like, it didn't hurt after. Like, the Novocaine wore off. It was throbbing a little bit. I took a little bit of ibuprofen.
Oh, yeah. No.
It never had to take. Not for you.
Oh, sorry. You skipped a little bit there. The internet messed up. But what did you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I just said that it only hurt a little bit after the Novocaine wore off. It was
right. No. The
and then it just
Yeah, sorry. My internet is like super spotty right now. Like, you're just like jumping all over the place. But yeah, no, the internet, or excuse me, the pain. Yeah, the pain. So I had to get 4 teeth removed because mine were like real bad because I was trying to stay awake at my job and I was eating mints and it just dug in there. But the pain that I experienced before, like going into it, was excruciating, and but it would come in waves. So it was like, and I just felt like it was like just affecting my entire body. And then I realized, it's my tooth. I need to get my tooth taken care of. And but then once they took it out, it was fine. I didn't have any problems except for they did have to break some of my teeth, I think, to get them out. And the spurs from like the bone that's there or whatever it is, the tooth that comes out. Yeah, they said that I went back the next week and I was like, hey, this is even worse than the other pain. And they're like, yeah, it's like teething. It's like what babies go through with teething. And I was like, oh, okay, well that's fun. And that was around Thanksgiving, and I couldn't enjoy Thanksgiving that year. But yeah, no, I hate to hear that, but I'm glad that you got them taken care of because that's the worst is a tooth pain. I am like, oh goodness, I can't even stand. Like I get like I'll think about having it happen again, and I'm like, no, can't do it.
It's funny because it wasn't like that bad. It throbbed a little bit, and then I took ibuprofen and it went away, and then like it was okay. It was just like I was so worried about like doing something that would cause it to hurt.
Oh, right.
That's why you're eating. Like I was eating like this, like literally my head tilted so that gravity would keep like the soup like away from the site, and like and it was just this whole 9 yards, and it was awful. So
you looked at it though, right? Like you looked, like you opened, like you went in and looked, right? With and saw like it's one of those things where like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense for me as far as like, is that something that I normally would like? Not generally, no, but like for some reason I was like fascinated by this like gaping hole in my mouth.
Checking it to make sure it's not blocked with like stuff.
Yeah,
and like and so it can heal, because I read too much about it now, so I know everything about it. I knew about the blood clot.
There you go.
I knew about if the blood clot dislodges, you get dry socket, and dry socket feels like you're having a baby in your mouth, and that's what the lady at the front counter told me.
Lordy day.
But whatever, it resolved okay. I went there Monday and got checked out. He says it's healing really well. It's doing better and better, which is great. I brought when I went there initially, I was in awful pain, and the girl at the front counter was hilarious, and she was like. I walked in and she goes, okay, you come in here, no coffee, no donuts, nothing. And you think we're just going to see you at just 9 a.m, just see you.
So she's giving you she's giving you guff, like immediately.
Yeah, and I've got like one hand like this, and I'm kind of like, no, I mean, normally I'm kind of cool, but like now I feel like I'm going to die. And she's like, okay, that's fine. So she was good with me. So when I went back on Monday, I brought a dozen hot Krispy Kreme.
There you go.
Sealed.
Man.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, yeah.
Like, sealed for your safety. Brought those things in. I came like kind of sauntering in like this with it. And she's like, She goes, "Oh no, you did not." I'm like, "Here I go." And like, dude,
Yeah,
they treat me
amazing.
like a king there. It was
Oh.
crazy. They gave me
Did
so
they
the
give you a
doctor has
crown?
like a syringe. Yeah, the doctor has a no. I mean, I wish. You know what I'm saying? That'd be a lot less than I need. I need a couple crowns. So I'm okay.
Oh yeah.
But the doctor has like a syringe of like antibiotic bitterness that like has a little like bent little applicator that he kind of like sprays it and like clears the site out or whatever.
Yeah.
They straight up like sent me home with one of those.
Oh.
Like he goes, I tell you what, why don't you go ahead and get him one of these, fill him up a syringe or whatever. And she's like, "Oh, really? Okay, yeah." And he sent me home with that thing. So I was at the house like spraying that stuff in there and like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, they sent me home with like a million things of gauze. Like the guy's like, "Yeah, just wipe it and get the food out with gauze." And that way.
Right.
And like, I walked out like a king. I had all my stuff. I was like, "Hell yeah," you know. But yeah, awesome. It was a whole experience. So that's kind of cool. Been what's up with me. I've been like kind of recovering from that and trying to keep my head straight, you know.
Well, that's good.
How about you?
Well, I got a phone call this week saying that I have a CT scan scheduled for next week, this coming Monday, actually, that I was not aware of. I had gone to the ear, nose, and throat, ENT, yeah, that's it, doctor, nurse person, the other day, and they had, I think I mentioned this on the show, I might not have, but they had found some lesions or something on the back of my throat, and apparently,
you mentioned that, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and they said it was benign, or generally it is, and they said they wanted to do a scope, or a video scope. And I was like, well, why didn't you just do a video scope the first time? I don't understand. But apparently they want to do that. Long story short, I thought that was the only thing I had. Apparently they scheduled me for a CT scan too, and we called to verify, and they said, yep, no, that's it. You're on for both. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, gonna be doing that on Monday. And so I guess they're just wanting to be thorough and make sure. My sister had to go for some stuff at one point, and she said that they injected her with some stuff, and she's like, they said they're gonna it makes you feel like you wet yourself, and she's thinking like, no, I'll be all right. And then she's like, sure enough, she's like, oh snap, I think I just wet myself. And I'm like, well hopefully they're not gonna have to do that to me, but do I know?
Like a trace. Did they call it a trace? Is it a trace?
Yeah, that's what they did for her. Yeah, she had to get something looked at or whatever, and did that. And I was like, oh well, I think
it's how they can up the the contrast on the blood flow and stuff, and see more stuff with the trace, because it's like a radioactive ink.
Right.
Kind of interesting. I had a version of that when I was in the hospital for swine flu, when they were really worried about my spleen for some reason, and they were like, let's go ahead and let's give them the trace. And I was like, what's that? And they're like, drink this, because I had to drink it.
Oh,
and and I drink it, and the nurse goes, you're going to feel really, really nauseous soon. But if you throw up, most people don't throw up. If you need to throw up, let me know. And it's already in my belly. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And sure enough, man, it turned my stomach. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I felt as sick as a dog laying on that thing during that whole thing. Although these are different parts of the body, obviously.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Like, the trace for what you're trying to do and what I was doing was totally different.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So
yeah, it's so weird. I gotta be honest, Eric. I gotta be 100% honest with you. When you said the brain bigger than whatever, I thought you were legitimately telling me that you had like a brain tumor on the actual podcast without telling me.
Oh no! I don't know yet. I might beforehand, but I don't know. No. They're doing a CT scan to see more of your throat. Right. I thought you were like, well, also. Yeah, we'll see how much bigger my brain gets. And I'm like, what? Right. Like, this cat just goes up. This is turtle soup. Anyway, I have a brain tumor. So I was like, you can't do that to me. Sorry, I'm really inconsiderate when it comes to humor. No, you're really bad news. So you were talking about the CT scan, like the side effect making you into the leader guy, but no. Like you just need to not with that, because I'm sure you about killed half the listeners and
that's
me
true. That's
right
true.
Now. I apologize.
That. I'm like, how am I going to go? How am I going to go to the cutoff show with this guy on Saturday? Exactly. And then he just told me he had a damn brain tumor Thursday night. I was supposed to act like things are normal, right? Exactly. Yeah. How do you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on with that? Right. Yeah. Goodness. Well, anyways, well, I think all that's going to go great for you. I'm glad that the CT scan is just a thing on top of the other thing that you already knew about, and not a new thing. Yeah. So yeah. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, do you feel okay? Yeah, as far as I know. I mean, I haven't really felt any different, but okay. You know. Okay.
It's just a thing.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, but and it's kind of like one of those things where, and we'll go to the next segment here in a second, but
Sure.
it's the same situation where when you tell people about this, that when you tell people that you leased a car, they're like, you'll have the people that are like, oh yeah, great call, leasing the car, yeah, that's the way to go. And then you have the same person that's like, ooh, no, should have bought, should have bought.
Know.
And
I don't know
and
if
so.
Okay.
Well, what I'm getting at is that some people at my job today had found out, and you had a lot of people that were like, oh no, it's probably nothing. They probably just wanted to double check and make sure, and just being thorough. So you're probably fine, especially the other stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have the one guy that's like, I don't know, man, they just don't schedule those CT scans for nothing, and just walks out. And I'm like, dang it. And it's the one guy that you listen to in your head the whole time, not like the 10 other people that are assuring you. It's the other person.
I actively yell at people that do that. Like it's almost uncontrollable, because I'm usually checking with people about that kind of stuff to check my anxiety. And I'll be honest, let's be honest here. Like, I'm going to go get the CT scan, right? And then we're going to figure shit out. Like I don't need any more trouble from you. Yeah. So I'm kind of here to tell you about it. And if you go, okay, then that's fine. If you go, look, man, it's fine, I like to hear that because it makes you feel better. If you go, well, I mean, they wouldn't schedule CT scans unless you were probably going to die. So
yeah,
I actively, I literally will be like, what the hell are you doing? Like one time at work, I just started working with Father Preston, and there's this lady, Kristen, that works there. She's really cool. And so we're hanging out, and I tell Preston, just like you do, because me and Preston are both like this. I'm like, dude, Preston, like I have this chest pain right now, and it's like completely killing me, and like I'm just absolutely convinced I'm having a heart attack, dude.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is, like, I have a lot of body-based anxiety, and so does Preston. So I can feel this way all the time, guys. If I'm worried about like that my night's too busy, I can have my left arm feel tingly. I can have I can have my face go numb. I can have, I mean, any symptom you want, my body can make. Right. So I just tell this Preston just casually, I'm like, yeah, man, my chest, like I got these chest pains, and like my chest is kind of heavy, and like because I said something like, because like later tonight we have to go like do a thing. And Kristen out of nowhere just goes, you should probably go to the emergency room, because if you're having chest pains and a heavy chest, that's not good. And I turned my head, and like Preston, say we both looked. I go, what the hell was that? And she's like, what? I'm like, I don't need that, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, look, man, I know the symptoms, and I'll be honest, if this is a heart attack, I've had about, I don't know, 500 of them.
Right. Yeah.
Since I was 18. Yeah. So like I'm good. When the real thing happens, I'll know.
Yeah, exactly.
This is just symptoms. And she's like, oh, okay. And the thing is, she's rational. She's not wrong. She's the rational person.
Yeah.
I'm the crazy one, but I'm like, you got to get with my crazy. If you're going to be around with me, you got to get with, you know what I'm saying? If you want to be my friend, you got to get with my lovers or with my crazy. I was trying to make a TLC. If you want to be my
okay, buddy, that was not TLC.
Gotta
that
get
was
with my.
That was Spice Girls.
No.
And
Spice Girls. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're all right.
TLC.
It could have. They could have probably done the same song.
No, you're right. That hook could have been TLC. I'm not saying the whole song.
Right.
Like TLC wouldn't be like, here's a story from A to Z. Like they wouldn't have done. Right. They wouldn't do that.
No,
that's not TLC. No. But just that hook, I could see it. I can see TLC say. I can see Left Eye literally saying, "If you want to be my lover, you gotta get with my friends."
Right.
That's a very TLC sentiment.
Right. And one thing that I think that someone else that I can see saying that is Neca, and we got some Neca news. And so, are you ready for this?
News.
So here we go.
Yes, I am. Finally, yes.
All right, news. We're back with more Neca Universal Monsters mashed up, smash up reveal news. I don't know. There's a lot. Actually, there's not.
Mashed up. Universal Monsters mashup. More mashup.
Yeah, that's probably what I should have said on the ticker down at the bottom.
One more mashup. Boys.
One more mashup. Just and another one. That's what it should have said down there. But yeah, we have just right on the heels. I about said hills. of their big announcement of the mashup between Universal Monsters and NECA's own Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line. They announced Raphael as Frankenstein's monster. We get another announcement, and I'm trying to find the screen that has all of this, and I found it. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go right to the source here, and follow me, if you will. And I'm gonna do something fancy. Here we go. Woo! There we go. All right. So what is this? This is
what is that?
Leonardo as Ygor. And
Ygor, baby.
So this just dropped, I believe, Tuesday, I want to say. And yeah, this is to a lot of people's displeasure, I guess. A lot of people weren't happy with this.
Okay. So on the Facebook group, if you're not on the Facebook group, you should get on there because we have some saints posting all these updates on there. I'll be 100 because I don't follow the toy news as much as Eric does. Usually that's Eric's side of the party.
Yep.
I appreciate being shared in the group because I get to see it first, and it's nice. I saw this, and this drew some derision. It drew some polarization on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of people that said, "Oh my god," and then I believe Em Wilson came in and said, like, "Yo, I'm gonna yum that yuck. I love it." And then all of a sudden, all the people that hadn't posted comments yet came in like, "Oh, me too. Okay, yeah, me too." Like almost like they didn't want to say it.
Right.
And then M busted out. They're like, "All right, well, I'm with it." Okay.
Dang.
That being said, I'm going to echo what I said on Facebook. I'm going to give a little. No, he did. He led the charge. He's the thought leader. You know what I'm saying? It's what he is. I'm going to go ahead and expand a little bit on what I said on Facebook.
Okay.
And that when I first saw this, I thought it was the TMNT mods and like collectibles group that I follow.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was a mod.
Interesting.
Because, and this is going to be harsh sounding, because it looked irresponsible.
Irresponsible?
Like, it looked irresponsible.
Okay.
And that's I've thought a lot about it, and that's the best word I can use for my initial feeling on it. This is first sight seen. This is not responsible. Okay. Now, this is everything I'm saying is based off of my interpretation of the sculpt. What I see.
Okay.
We'll talk about. We can get into the actual, the figure, the actual paint and the modeling and the lighting. We can talk about that. Okay.
Right.
And the sculpt. We can talk about that. I don't like the eyes. I don't like how he's pushed in and turned in weird.
Really?
I don't like that. I don't like it. It doesn't even look remotely like like Leonardo to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, and maybe it's I don't know. But my initial feelings are I don't like it. And what I'm gonna say really fast before getting out of the way and letting you hop in.
Okay.
Is as illustrated, the right eye. Our right eye, Leo's left eye, the one that's looking at you.
Yeah,
that's cool as shit.
It is.
If the other one was up and looking at you the same way, that'd be awesome. That would go a long way for me. A long way.
Yeah,
I love half of that pupil coming out from underneath that the bandana. I love that.
Right,
that's a great look. If the other one wasn't turned down in a way and didn't look like Kermit the Frog's eye, you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Then I would be a lot more of a fan.
Yeah.
But right now, the eyes kill me, and then the rest doesn't do much more.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So my first impression was that like it came from a thought, like an initial thought of, oh, this Ygor in this story is a secondary character, that he is not like, it almost feels like they're not giving equal respect to the turtles in regards of the spotlight, I guess you could say. But then again, some could also say that Ygor is very integral to the story. And, but like, when you think of like, the heavy hitters, it's Frankenstein's monster, of course. A Dracula, Wolfman, all that stuff.
Dracula, Mummy, Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein. Those are your hitters.
And so the fact that Leonardo was not one of them or any of the turtles, but then I was like, okay, so it was kind of like one of those thought processes that you like your gut instinct and then you think it through. And so I was thinking that through and I'm like, okay, well, what about this? What if they're going to do something that's a little bit more focused and they're going to make just Frankenstein's the story of Frankenstein's monster and those characters. So like, yeah, maybe a Dr.
So you
Frankenstein.
still have a Victor Frankenstein and you still have a Bride of Frankenstein.
Right.
But I don't know who else you got.
Right.
Maybe
so, but there's at least 4. And now it's not outside the realm of possibility for the turtles, especially Michelangelo, to don any kind of clothing from any presumed gender. And so I was curious if they might do that. Like I was like, I wonder if they're going to go that route, which would be interesting because at the same time, this is also leaning heavily into the on the Frankenstein side, right? Because
it is.
So it's like, why would they do that if they're also just going to do like the Wolfman and like this other character?
Well, okay, so this is where we do need to actually, we mentioned it last week, but we do actually need to bring up the skews. The way that this was initially was kind of discovered, the news that we were going to break, but then it seemed kind of speculative. And
yeah,
so the skews that were found at Target, from what I understand, on a Target inventory computer. Okay, so they had the inventory and they found the skews, which have been right so far. It has been, and I intentionally didn't I knew what the skews said the creatures were going to be,
right?
But I intentionally
I forgot
want to go back to it because I was like,
yeah.
It called Raph as Frankenstein.
Okay.
It called Leo as the Hunchback. I believe it was just Leo Hunchback is what was in the skew. So like
interesting.
Ygor,
okay.
it wasn't there. And it calls Mikey as the Mummy.
Oh, okay. So then that throws my hypothesis out the window.
I did that because after I saw this Leo, I was like, okay, I need to go back to those skews. I need to go back to all the secret tech and figure out and they've been right so far.
Interesting.
So I bring that up only really to say that like if that's true, then the idea that they're digging deep into the Frankenstein run would be wrong. That being said, like there were only 3 skews.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that doesn't mean that we won't see, I don't know, like Bride of Frankenstein April next and just be completely blown out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have no idea. But I would, given the fact that the other 2 were right and that they came from an inventory, I would think that we're going to see Mikey as the Mummy at some point.
Interesting.
And that they're revealing these because they know they got spoiled. So they're revealing these first because they know.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to put like a good amount of turtle bucks on Mikey the Mummy being next.
Okay, yeah. I'm on board with that.
But that's more speculation.
Yeah.
So I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get the full Raph treatment with this one. I don't know if we're just off the spooktacular thing, even though October's almost over, so they probably need to hurry up.
Yeah.
Right? But with the news, but like I kind of feel like I would love to have seen more angles of this Ygor like we got with Raph, because maybe that would change my opinion. Right now, what I see of the face, I hate. But like, give him some lighting, turn him around, show me the back, kind of figure it out. Maybe I feel different. So I'm willing to say this is just based off one photo. Like, I'm just willing to say that.
That's true. And I'm anxious to see how they're going to handle his back given his character. That this is a character that has a back that is larger than most. So, and then on top of a turtle who is got a shell that's massive as well. So I'm curious to see if they're going to do anything that's how they're going to handle
how the shell's going to look
precisely.
Yeah, because the shell is pretty symmetrical.
It is.
So how's it going to have a hump on one side, like, and actually look
and then
normal?
Look at the sword.
It looks like
the swords just now if it's like I can't really point at it, but if it's like rounded, maybe I could see the swords like it's like a little more shallow of a shell. The swords could go flush, but if it's like bulbous on the back,
then the blade's gonna be sticking out the other side.
Exactly, or through it, which would be interesting. But like, I don't know why they'd do that. That'd be a little strange. But this whole thing is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still have to give it to them though. Neca, they know what they're doing with paint and detail and
and yes,
this is
and
flawed.
like and there's a lot of things I like here. Obviously we got a little bit of reuse on the arms, I believe, and the hands. They look pretty reused. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Again.
I don't think so. I don't think this is. I think because these hands are
well, the hands are definitely.
Yeah, they're well, no. I'm saying that they look more deformed, like that they're a little bit more
really?
elongated. Yeah,
okay.
At least I think so.
Okay, well, we'll check it out.
I could be wrong, but yeah, this is
and yeah, like you have the same kind of knee pad treatment, but once again, I mean, like it looks like there's like some weird like sores on the knee pad or something's on the knee pad.
Okay, I'm gonna zoom in because I can see them on my computer screen, but I don't know if y'all can see them here. They're beetles.
There's beetles. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's kind of neat. I kind of like that.
Okay. So, yeah. So first of all, neat. Yeah. I mean, like, can we get the full shot again?
Yeah.
So let me new drink this. Let me
okay.
A little bit.
Okay.
This paint app in this sculpt is exquisite.
Right.
Like I'm not like. Can you zoom in on like the face and neck area?
Yes.
We talked about it with Raph. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in here again. The teeth are awesome.
Yeah.
That sculpting is so good. The neck, the staples. Like if once again we talked about what if the paint app isn't as crazy as this one.
Right.
It's there for you guys. It's there for you.
Yeah.
A little bit of acrylic paint go a long way to making like a little bit of straight up like metallic metal. So a little bit of like gunmetal paint or silver paint can just be dabbed onto those staples and they're shining. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot. You don't got to get full Zelu 1984 on this thing to bring it up because it's all there. The thing that Zelu does, you really follow Zelu 1984 on Instagram if you don't, because he recently repainted your boy Dan. It's Dan now.
Oh, it's Dan?
Dan now.
Oh, yeah.
He just redid his face.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks like the actual actor even more. And he did the Back to the Future, the Marty McFly leg swap. So the legs are in scale. So they're long, so they look good. And he did a lot of work on them. And anyway, the thing that makes Zelu so great is that he takes like Marvel Black Series. I assume it's a he.
Marvel
because you told me, right? Marvel Legends. Sorry.
Yeah.
Star Wars Black Series.
Star Wars Black Series, Marvel Legends. Yeah, you got it mixed up. You're good.
He takes Marvel Legends, which are $20 figures off the shelf. You know what I mean? And he makes Black Widow look like Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
That's remarkable because there's almost no sculpt. Right? This is $20. This is at the store. You know what I'm trying to say?
For the most part,
the sculpting is not as detailed. You would agree with that, right? Like it's not like
generally
he's having to paint on stuff.
They're getting a lot better. But generally speaking, yes.
Yeah. You don't have to do that here.
You
can actually put brush on sculpt, draw across, paint on.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be an artist, right, to bring this guy from 75% to where he is in this photo.
Right. Now
that's
also
to say that I love the sculpt because it's all there.
Yeah. Now this is going to be, I think this is around $30 figure. It could be a little bit more. I could be mistaken. I do know that Raph is on pre-order like you could pre-order him from Big Bad Toy Store like I did, but I can't remember from off the top of my head. But one thing I want to talk about real quick before we actually talk a little bit about what Neca actually said about this figure is I want to zoom in a little bit more because I think is that hair?
Those are
above
eyebrows.
Those are eyebrows, right? And then I think that's hair
big,
down there
bushy
too.
Eyebrows.
I think that's hair underneath the chin.
I think he has like a little neck beard.
Yeah. So that's
Oh, he's got a little Eric Crosby beard.
Yeah, he's got a little beard like me. Yeah. That's a little concerning. I don't know how I feel about my turtles with hair.
You don't like the Billy Goat's gruff?
I don't know if I like that.
No, you don't want to pay the troll toll?
I don't know if it's worth it.
You don't want that boy's hole? Okay, that's
goodness.
Word up.
Yeah, I don't know, but we'll see in hand. But overall, I think this looks great. So I'm here for that.
In hand's probably gonna look pretty good. The sculpt's there. That's what I love about this. I want more pictures of him.
Okay,
I'm willing to revise my critical opinions of the look of this guy if I got more
upon new information.
Like if I got the Raphael treatment, you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
I need the Raphael photo treatment.
I think I'm sure they will. I mean, obviously they're going to, but I'm curious as to why they're waiting so long when December or October is like almost over. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's like Halloween's like this weekend. So I'm like, why are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you waiting so long? And like, give us the photos.
Yeah.
Like
we know you got them, Neca. We know you got them.
You made a stop motion video for Raph, and we get Leo, and it's just one dark photo, and it's like 31 Days of Fright. And I'm like, well, let's see. It doesn't really help me much. Like,
so Neca put out this message with them with the photo, and let's see what it says. It says, for tonight's reveal, here's a little more from our Universal Monsters TMNT line, introducing Leo as Ygor, the Hunchback. He's the brains behind the monster, and has the jar to prove it. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. More information to come early 2020, or excuse me, early 2022. So he has the brain. He's the brains behind the monster and has the jar to prove it. So I think that he's either going to have Krang in a jar or just a Utrom, whatever. But I definitely think that that's going to be something in the jar. That because why else would they say that? Why else would they phrase it that way?
You can file that in your. They're going to give me my Ernie Reyes Jr. head separate for my Raph figure because that's my dreams. Yep. You can put that in the dream jar.
Okay,
that's the jar you can put.
It'll go in the dream jar, but I think that that's what it is.
It could be. It'd be cute as hell. It'd be really cool. I think actually throwing like Krang into this would be really cool. Like I would love to see it. I'm not saying like that would suck.
Yeah.
I just sometimes y'all, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You read them tweets and you're like, I'm gonna decipher that. Oh man. And then all of a sudden it's Pepe Sylvia. But like goodness. I'm with it. Like that'd be fun. The jar is weird. Like why has he got the jar?
Why does he have the jar?
And maybe they don't show him all around. Maybe that's a feature for the back. Maybe maybe he's got the jar with a brain or with Krang or whatever in it mounted to his back in some way, or like he's like holding it, or it's strapped to his back. So like maybe that's why they didn't give us the panorama, because they were kind of like, well, like that's going to be another reveal.
Yeah, that could be. I don't know. Like I could see it kind of going both ways, and like. I'm kind of here for it. Like, I hope that there's the problem with Ninja Turtles is that there are so many different iterations that you can't really tell which one this is. Is this because NECA itself kind of sort of is its own iteration of the Turtles. So you have like the animated series, then you have Mirage, then you have like Nickelodeon's version, and then you have Rise and stuff like that. So like certain characters don't make sense when you're throwing them in to like a certain line or whatever. Like it just wouldn't really gel if it's not the right character. Now granted, this is like the mashup of the Universal Monsters. So and the Utroms are pretty much in every iteration of the Turtles, if I recall correctly. So if not them, then Krang. So and what other, I mean, he looks like a brain. The Utroms look like brains. Like it just seems like it writes itself. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I don't know. I feel like there's a pretty strong case for that. But we'll have to Z. Real quick though, just want to go through something else, some other toy news that came up. Now, the loyal and we're gonna breeze through this because we got an issue to talk about coming up on the Prime side, but. The loyal subjects, which they started out, I believe they started out putting, making little, probably like 3 to 4 inches, little blind bag figures, and that was their thing, and they were really cool. And I have some Power Rangers ones, and they're great, and they were neat little figures. Well, then they started making, I think it's called AXN or something like that. This line of like about 5-inch action figures. And you can find them at Walmart and Target, but I find them mostly at Walmart in the electronics aisle and with the collectibles, if you will. And they've had a bunch of waves out so far. I haven't jumped on any of them yet, but I did know the Turtles were coming, and I was still hesitant, and I had decided I wasn't going to do it, and then they did some reveals. But before we get to their big reveal, let's just review what the Turtles look like. So here's your boy Donatello. Yeah, this is this is a really good production shot, because it makes this thing look a lot better than what I think it will actually look like in person. But it is very much.
It looks clean. It looks clean.
It does.
They did a good job of like really like making it look clean, and with the lighting and photography.
Oh, absolutely.
The face is cool.
It is
in that very cartoon way, like very like limited way. What I like is like, I mean, they don't make an attempt to like make it look like there's any kind of wash or any kind of complicated paint app on him, which to me I think is like kind of honest.
And
actually, I kind of like it.
Exactly. And there's an appeal to for it, definitely. But one thing I will notice about or note about this sculpt is that their head is a little bit more oval, maybe like it's a little wider, like a little flatter. Oh yeah, especially considering my point being that they are based, I think, off of this art. So
of course.
Yeah, when you look at this art, it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah,
and so
I mean, it looks like the '87 animated series Turtles.
It like, very much does.
I don't see anything weird about it. Yeah.
Oh, it's not necessarily that it's weird, but I think that it's not as they don't. I think that a lot of turtle action figures lately, or at least in my recollection, have a little bit more of a cylindrical. Like see how this Donatello and the actual artwork's face is a little more round than it is wide. Yeah, I think that's what the toys themselves are doing, and I think that sets them apart, and I kind of like that. And I do really enjoy the do they call this control art? Someone let us know in the comments or email us or something, because I think that's what this is called, where they have artwork that they throw on everything for particular things. There's a certain term for it, and I forget. But regardless, moving on real quick, here's Leonardo, looking much more like himself and less like Ygor. And this ninjato in a very strange way, but, whatever. And we got your boy Michelangelo with those nunchucks that will immediately, if I do purchase this, will be switched for real metal chains.
Of course.
And then you have Raphael. And these are essentially the same figure, just different colored bandanas and arm and wrist stuff.
Icon.
And then their letter on their belt and their weapons. Yeah. That's pretty much it. I do believe though that Michelangelo does come with his grappling hook, so that's pretty cool. Better. Yeah, I know. And I don't think here. Let me see. I think I got Raphael. Yeah, Raphael does not come with the grappling hook. He comes with some other weapons too. Okay. So that's cool. But now, as far as the reveal, so they revealed. And I saw these on Big Bad Toy Store because they're up for pre-order right now. And I believe these run you anywhere from 15 to 20, I think. I might be mistaken. I should have studied that real quick. But yeah, they dropped this, and here's a foot soldier. Like, that doesn't look too bad.
These are 6-inch figures?
These are not. They are about 4 to 5 inches, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And yeah, they this is I believe this is a render.
What do you not like about that?
It's not that I don't.
What's a render?
I think this is digital. I don't think this is actual. I could be wrong.
Zoom in.
But
I mean, it's hard because I'm seeing this through a screen on Discord.
Right. Yeah. I think this is digital.
What makes you think that's a render?
Something about, I think, the color of the hand and the sword, how big that is, like the hilt or the handle, I should say.
Okay.
Something about that just seems a little bit too rough, if you will. And
that's fine. That's fine. Let's just assume that's what the figure's gonna look like. Let's just assume that's just like really close to what the figure is gonna look like. That way we can actually like talk about it instead of being like, oh, it's digital, so I don't care now.
No. Right. So no, my thing is that, and it's really not an indictment on these figures themselves. It's more about the line as a whole. Again, I think it falls under the category of not my scale, and that's fine. I mean, I can, and it's kind of works out better for me because I don't have to buy everything. But yeah, some things like they have an Avatar: The Last Airbender, which doesn't look that bad. The Aang character, but his head and shoulders are just disproportionate, and it's just not. Actually, I don't even think he has a neck. Like, it's so weird. But then the images that are similar,
sculpt,
the images that they've shown for the other characters that are similar to this one that we're looking at, they look like more like the digital renderings, which is another reason why I think that's what this is as well. But we have the foot soldier.
If someone did a digital render and it's colored like that, and like it has like all the shadow and like light on it, and it's got all that light like it was in a photo box.
Yeah.
Then they put way too much time into that render.
Yeah,
I would
agree.
Coming from like the miniature side of things, when you get a render for a miniature, it literally looks like you're about to throw it in CAD. Like it's gray. Like it looks like the Usagi Yojimbo render that we reviewed a little bit ago, where it's obviously a digital render because it's like a gray digital thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen, and once again, I'm not as into the toy like hunting and looking at like all the speculation stuff, but like that's a lot of time spent on a render.
It is. But this is also stuff
to make it look real
that they're selling. They're trying to set like it's essentially like the back of the box.
Off it. Okay.
Yeah, it's how Playmates, the toy on the back looked amazing. But the one in hand might look a little different. Moving on, Shredder comes into play. Enters we have a new challenger, you know what I'm saying? And
now weirdly that one looks more like a render to me.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
Yeah.
Than the other one.
It's, and if
okay.
the other thing that might make it be a render is whatever that is right there. Because that
absolutely.
looks like his hand that was copied and pasted and not
it does.
Not
No, for some reason this one looks more like a render because that's so true. When you back up though, what actually just go roll up onto his left arm. Like what kind of sold me with the sword.
Okay.
The bicep area.
Okay.
Something around that. See that pinkish.
Yeah.
So Photoshop.
Yeah.
Like, see, that's what I expect. That's what I expect to see out of like a digital render that's been colored.
Right.
But for some reason, the foot soldier doesn't have like any of that going on.
Oh,
the foot soldier one looks like good to me. Like I'm like, all right. Like once again, I'm seeing it through Discord. If I saw like the original image, I might be able to obviously tell. But anyway,
and you saw the foot soldier like isolated. I saw all of them at once, and so like that kind of influenced me too. So, but still.
Okay, so all right. Yeah.
This Shredder looks pretty good for what it is. For this, like this image, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And so
I think you're being kind of hard on this line. I gotta be 100.
Okay, well, real quick.
I never thought we'd come out and you like Ygor. You're all about Ygor, but you don't like these. Yeah. I did not expect that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway.
I want to like them a lot more because so I went into Walmart recently and they had their Kiss versions like from the same line, Kiss figures, and they definitely look a lot different. They don't look exactly how they probably did in like an image like this when they were soliciting it. And
yeah, sure,
they're not the worst figures by any means. They're pretty good for what they are, but they're definitely not what we're accostomed to in the way of NECA and Marvel Legends and stuff. Then again, there's a price difference.
Of course not.
So
yeah,
there's
a price difference,
and scale does play does come into play. But as far as the design, this looks really good. And what you're seeing on screen for some reason looks a little bit like more slender because he's a little bit more, at least maybe I might be seeing it wrong, but I think he's a little bit more bulkier too. Like he's a little bit more like wider. And that's nevertheless, it's still a really good sculpt for Shredder. Like if they can make that look just like that, that'd be fantastic. Now, they also revealed Bebop. And Bebop looks pretty good. I mean
he's a little more slender than what like Bebop probably would be. Like he in the animated series, he's always shown a lot more like stout than that. Like a little bit more just white. He's a bit of a thicker boy, like in general.
Yeah.
This is a little more like a combination of like the animated series version and then like the IDW version of him. You know, in IDW he's like really skinny. Like that this almost looks like a mixture.
Well, like I said too, I think that for some reason these images aren't translating as well as everything else had, because it's looking a little slimmer. But yeah, no, he looks like animated series in my opinion, like just dead ass, just like that's. Except those abs. I don't know. Now that you're mentioning it, did he have abs in the animated series?
I don't think so. He had a belly, dude.
Where did those abs come from?
Look, man, he had a boxer's build, bro. Like that's kind of what him and Rocksteady both had. The boxer's build. We're like, hey, no doubt that there's muscle under those slabs. Like there's muscle there all day. Yeah, but they got some fat because like they need to be insulated because they're not like 1% body fat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they actually like are dudes that are strong. So
yeah,
the thing is that like he looks a little slimmer once again if it's a photo or whatever. I love how this news segment's become all about if it's real,
right?
If it's a photo, the photo, whatever. We're not even talking about the miniatures, or about the action figures that much.
Yeah.
But he looks a little slim to me. But once again, I think that looks great. I don't know. You're being kind of hard on the line, I think. And once again, all I can judge is off what I'm seeing here.
Right.
You went into the wild and started looking at Kiss action figures for some reason. Who knows why you did that? And then you started looking at other stuff, and it's kind of like, I don't have obviously that frame of reference. I don't know what you're going to get here versus what you're going to get in hand when it comes to loyal subjects. I just don't know that.
Right.
All I can say is based on what I've seen so far. Are there more?
Yeah, there's one more. And that's it.
Let's go.
We got your boy Casey Jones. And
the hockey stick's a little. Who even has a hockey? It's like a combination of like a cricket bat and a hockey stick. Like, what is that? Did he like? It looks like a paddle. And what's messed up is he has a true hockey stick.
Behind him
on his back. Yeah. Now, if you're a sports bro more than me and you know what that is, please let me know. It's not a cricket bat. It's not an oar, which is what it also kind of looks like. And it's not a hockey stick that I've ever seen.
Well, I think you have to understand what crumpet is before you can understand what cricket is, right? Isn't that how that goes?
That's true, but I know enough about crumpet to know that cricket bats don't have a hockey stick end on the end of
it.
Yeah. but also a cricket bat.
Right.
But that's like all I got to say because look, like maybe it's the painter in me. My thing is this. These sculpts for less expensive figures. Granted, the scale's smaller, right? Not necessarily our scale. I like 6'2". You know what I mean? Like I like 3'4" is kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
But from what I'm seeing, like I don't know. It is what it is. Like it is what it is. And if you want to spice them up, you know what I'm saying? If you want to add, I'm talking about kind of like that old Totino's party pizza. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Put that sucker. Who just puts that in the oven, boys? You know what I'm saying? We gotta spice it up. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
We got a home style. Add that cheese. Add that extra pepperoni. Add that extra bitterness. Add that hot sauce. You gotta do what you gotta do. You're gonna have to spice up that party pizza with these guys. If you really want something that looks on par with NECA or even Legends or whatever, you're gonna have to step it up. Like, but at the same time, for animated series figures, I like them.
Yeah,
they are.
They are what
like,
they are.
They look like they're from the animated series. It looks like it's the promise of the premise. Is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I'm a little easier on them because of their price point, and because of what I'm seeing.
Okay.
You're not even in those leagues. You're not even in the league of like, I needed a screen accurate Casey Jones. You're not doing that. So why do you need it?
So I'm gonna correct myself. These are $20. These are $20 figures.
Oh.
And yeah. Now I will say that there's a lot more detail, obviously, here on Casey. Oh, and I love his green shoes. Oh, those are sick.
Oh.
Those are neat.
See?
I like those.
How about hey? How about the sculpt on those pants?
Those pants,
the bagginess at the calf.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That is pretty cool.
That's a cool touch. You could have just done the old. It's just legs and we paint them gray.
Exactly. Oh yeah,
they're
done
tight.
That all day.
They're so tight that they just paint them gray. Like
yep.
No, like they went there. I think the knees actually, to be 100 with you, the knees look better than Neca's April.
I think so too. Yeah. So
I hate to tell you, I hate to
true.
call it out because I love everybody and I want everyone to keep making these things. But all I gotta say is they did something with the knees here that don't make them look like
they did,
like you lost them in the war.
Oh my
frankly.
Lord!
I mean,
but yes.
So I mean, there's that.
He does have the benefit of having the pants, whereas April was wearing a skirt. So she does. So, but you are right though. This is done pretty well. They could have messed that up. But yeah, I think Casey is Casey's the one that gets me usually. If they do a good Casey, and yeah, I think this one. Oh man, if anyone's gonna get me, it's gonna be this one. So
$20 and it's they're 4-inch scale.
I think so.
And
yeah.
these are obviously like mock-ups, and we don't know what in hand looks like.
Right. And so
you gotta get that scouting report. That's all there is to it, in my opinion. You gotta see him live. You gotta see him in the wild. You gotta get that scouting report. You know what I'm saying? Because if they come most of the way to those, if you're looking for that set of figures, I mean, it's probably your best shot.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. That's now
without paying outrageous prices.
Right now, if you wanted to go into store, you could get some of the Playmates classics that they've reissued with some of the figures. Which aren't the worst figures. I like mine for the most part, but don't like their articulated fingers. That's always weird to me. But there's those. But then again, you do make that's a very valid point. These figures are in a different area of the store, at least in Walmart. They're in the entertainment section. So like the electronics section. So they're trying to get a different crowd. They're trying to get your anime kids and your people that are there to buy video media and watch, TV shows and nostalgia. They want like the little like chibi stuff. Like it's the idea of like the chibi stuff. Now $20. I mean that's not necessarily a little chibi price. Right. No.
You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like you're a lot more right to buy around like $10 to like $13. You know that's typically the area of your impulse purchase.
Yeah.
Seeing that $19.99. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, because
they must feel like they can sell it though. I mean, you don't make all the plastic.
Yeah, you don't go do that if you don't think you got it. So yeah, and so that's pretty much the toy news. So anxious to see what else NECA's gonna throw our way, and hopefully they give us all the Leo pictures soon. And so just keep checking back here, and we'll keep you posted on all the turtle toy news. I guess, are we a turtle toy source now? Is that what you call that? I don't know. But nevertheless, let us know what you think about these figures. Are you excited about them? Do you want to get them? Have you seen them?
Yeah.
Because I think they're about to start coming out. At least the Loyal Subject ones are. Let us know. Email us, turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. And you can let us know in the comments as well. And let us know if we're loud and wrong.
Are any photos you've ever seen real?
Oh,
or are they all just digital mock-ups?
Are we just digital Yeah.
I mean, in a way, obviously, this is digital mock-up.
It's true.
We're not in your phone.
Or are we?
Bye.
Else time. All right.
So I was trying to make a joke about like send nudes. Like for like NECA, like send us the photos of Leo, but I was trying to think of like something that rhymed with like nudes that would be like but it'd be like pictures of a turtle,
right?
And literally the only word I can think that rhymes with nudes is dudes.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
And I was trying to think, and then I was like, send platitudes, and like I was like, this is too much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too much.
I'm looking forward to seeing that stuff. I don't find myself in Walmart at all, but are they sold anywhere else?
Target has them, and I believe a bunch of other places do. I think FYE has them, and if you still have those in your mall, I think our mall just got them back.
FYE is in our mall, and I weirdly go to FYE once a week.
Wow, now do you buy anything?
Because they literally had that JAXA shirt that I got, the Japanese Space Agency shirt I got. They had a really cool NASA shirt I bought. They had my little, that's where I bought my little moon. The little light up moon I have. I bought it there. And they actually have vinyl. They have new vinyl. So, I mean, I always like pick through that and take a look at that and see if there's any like random awesome things there.
Right.
So I go to FYE all the time.
Legit.
So I'll check it out.
Yeah, they have them there.
The big reason I go is I go to the back, and they have all the Funko Pops, and I'm not a Funko Pop guy really, but I go back there because 40K made some pops.
Yeah.
Or Funko made some 40K pops, and I always think like maybe this store accidentally bought some of them because they were like sci-fi, sure, and then all the kids that go into FYE were like, this isn't Nightmare Before Christmas, and like walked back out, and like they're still going to be there maybe.
Yeah.
Like, so if I ever see a wall of pops, I go to the wall of pops, even though I'm only interested in finding 40K pops.
Right. And there you go.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, but I did impulse buy another Funko Pop that I want to show you.
Oh,
I don't think I showed you guys this. Super Shredder.
Oh, nice. I haven't seen that. Oh, that's
I
awesome.
got Super Shredder. Yeah. Kevin Nash, if you need him.
Yeah.
He's hanging out. Look,
Big Daddy Diesel.
Big Daddy Diesel, and he's not obviously not the bobblehead, but like, but yeah,
thank God.
But he's
look at that.
Got all this going on, and I'll be 100 with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I thought about giving him a Blackwash. I'll be 100.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I'm not a pop collector.
Right.
And he's got you can see he's got good Blackwash on the abs already.
Oh, of course.
Like that's already there.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I think that's actually Kevin Nash's actual skin tone.
It probably is.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the metal like on the grill, like that's shadow. That's not actually washed. You can just see it's not.
Yeah.
In person, and then like on the back headdress thing, it's like kind of not really washed. I don't know if it needs it, but I thought about messing with him. But yeah, that's your boy. You know what I'm saying? He's super cute. Now he's on top of my monitor over here.
There you go. Goodness. Well,
got him.
You got him. Well, speaking of things we got an issue to talk about. So
we do have an issue. We have issues to resolve with this issue.
We do.
I've been researching hard. So
dang, I just did one research. That's all I did, and it was from the mouth of someone who has done us well and right for a very long time. Let's just put it that way.
Mouth of someone who's done us well and right for a very long time.
There you go. Yep. So,
okay.
Yeah. So we're getting into body count, or Casey Jones and Raphael.
Yes. So body count number 1, if you need it. It wasn't always called this. You know what I'm saying? So here is what I've got.
Okay.
And I've been doing a lot of research involving TMNT Entity, which I believe is who you're talking about.
Indeed. Yes.
So
which is a great website. Check it out. If you're a Turtles fan, you need to check that site out. Like, there's no reason why you haven't.
Yes.
If you haven't yet,
TMNT Entity is like stupid. If you're a Turtle fan, you already know about it, because anytime you've ever Googled like, was Kevin Nash Super Shredder? Like, typically TMNT Entity is going to come up with something about Shredder.
Something,
It's not going to answer your question, but it's going to
give you so
show
much
you
more.
other cool shit.
Exactly.
Obviously, the work at TMNT Entity is beautiful, and it's definitely one of the sources we use to double check ourselves and make sure we're good. Now, on TMNT Entity, and as well as other places that I read that I thought I was right, and I think I'm right now. TMNT. So Casey Jones and Raphael number 1 was originally published by Mirage in October of '94. This happened. Okay, they published it in '94. The plan was to make it a 5-part series. Okay,
right.
It was going to be this 5-part thing. But after publishing number 1, their resources were already so low, and they were already considering kind of backing out of publishing Turtles comics, like kind of starting to hit the slowdown button.
Right.
And we're starting to talk to Image Comics at this point. So they kind of put that on a hold.
Yeah.
Well, they finish up Mirage Volume 2, and then it turns out, actually, we're not going to publish any more comics. We're going to give it over to Image. Image turns around and republishes the issue in March of '96 as Casey Jones and Raphael Body Count number 1 in '96.
Right.
Then they go ahead and publish the 3 other parts of Body Count after that in '96, and that is the beginning of their official turnover into like publishing the TMNT comic for Image.
Right.
So it was reissued. So it was originally published in 1994 under Mirage, as the Mirage imprint, but it was re-released once again, same cover. It said Mirage Comics on it. Okay. By
different cover, but
I thought it was the same cover.
No, I get no.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I see it.
Bird.
I see it now.
Baby Bird.
God damn it!
I'm excited.
I make one actual verbal mistake, and you won't stop long enough for me to go. Wait, what I meant was.
All I'm saying is I was excited. I've got it, and I want to show. I'm going to show it eventually. Like we've got both covers because they're so good. I just want to.
We got both covers.
I wasn't trying to give you shit. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. No.
So, the cover was. Let me go back because I said same cover. I didn't even mean to say that. Okay. What I'm saying is, it was published with a different cover, same content. The landing page where they give credit was updated to accurately reflect the credits for the comic, because the original Mirage publishing issue, which our cool uncle has, we don't have the Image version. We have the cool uncle Mirage version.
Right.
Incorrectly attributes pencils to Kevin Eastman, and that was not the case. So that's all to say, if you want to go over the covers now, we could do that. Now that I've corrected my wrongs.
Yeah, let's head over there real quick. So let's do this.
Yes.
All right. So this is
boys and girls and people.
Yeah. This is the Mirage Publishing #1 cover.
Yeah.
And this is pretty neat. I do like this. It's now that I'm looking at it after having read the whole thing, it's very indicative of what this is something that does happen in the book, which we're always a fan of, because when it doesn't, that's annoying. But yeah, it's essentially Raphael up at somewhere on the top of a building, or not on the top of one, but scaling a building or something, and he's falling down onto a group of people that we don't know yet, but we probably will. And he's got size of blazing, and it's really cool. It kind of looks like Raphael himself kind of looks like a little bit like AC Farley's Turtles a little bit. There's something a little grotesque about it, and very muscular. Well done by all means. Looks really good.
This is Simon Beasley, who does the art in the book as well.
Right.
On full art on this. So this is pencils, inks, colors.
Yeah.
It's a different look. If you're even the covers for volume 2, which got a little more edgy or dark for TMNT. This is oh my God, it's 1994, basically.
Yeah.
Holy crap. It's almost like Marvel Max looking stuff you're seeing on the cover of the thing.
Absolutely. That is a very good point.
You know what I'm it feels
totally.
Like that.
And it also has a little bit of that it's escaping me right now, but the company that did the 3D rendering or whatever, that cool art in volume 2, in some on the covers where it looked like the perspective was
you're talking about Altered Earth.
Yes.
Who did the digital coloring, the computer coloring effects.
It
Altered
seems
Earth Arts, which is AC Farley joint.
Yeah, it's very interesting enough. It's reminiscent of that, at least in my perspective from how I'm seeing it.
Yes, absolutely, and you wouldn't be wrong that Altered Earth actually did work on this comic. We don't. I'm sorry. Hold on. Yes, they did. They did the computer coloring.
Oh,
and then
okay.
Steve Levine did letters and colors. So it's the same combination we're seeing, where they're starting to mix media. Well, we say mixed media, but what we mean is mixed color styles between the traditional color style and adding the digital. Mirage still is not, to my memory, had Altered Earth do all of the color for a book yet.
Yeah, I don't think
they're
so
still
either.
intermixing a little bit. And here really, I think where you really see this new digital coloring concept is in the back shadows of Raph.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you look at his ribs and where you've got the highlights, but it goes to the inky darkness. If you look at the back of his head, you see how the gradient goes from dark, and then you got that shine on the back.
Yeah.
That gray highlight, that off blue highlight, that's digital.
Yeah.
And
That's
then you
awesome.
could just kind of look around and also tell that there's probably, I think, some blurring, some digital blurring that happens at the bottom, where as we get away from Raph, things get more and more saturated and blurry.
Right.
I believe that that's also like a mixed media style thing that's being accomplished with digital. Also, obviously, the red on the bottom left and top right border of the comic is all digital as well.
That's true. Yeah.
So we're seeing a mixture, right? And I think we talked about it in Volume 2 that it was actually kind of cool. Not only as a historical milestone to see computer into effect and computer-based effects like Photoshop effects being put into comics,
right?
But they actually did a really good job of mixing them and making it a real feature. So I think that that's a really great part about this cover.
Absolutely. I like this cover a lot. And again, real quick, I love the masthead where it's Casey Jones and it's his mask.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now I'm gonna just, might be a hot take. Gonna say that I think the image cover though gets it for me. Let's see if we can pull that up. Now I just grabbed this off the internet real quick, so I don't know how good that's gonna look because I didn't vet it yet. But this is the cover, and it here. Let me zoom out. I guess it's from mycomicshop.com, so go check them out.
Wow.
But, yeah, sorry about that, guys. But yeah, they had the best image of it. But the Image Comics is great. Now, what this is it looks nuts. It has a very interesting. Oh, I'm trying to think of like the words to describe it. It has like a more of a painted approach to it, in my opinion. It's got Raphael featured in the center, but he is transposed on top of a person that presumably is Casey Jones. It's a person that looks like wearing a Wolverine mask and a hockey mask, but it's been painted with the American flag, and it's also holding
on like one side.
Yeah, a hockey stick, and it just looks a lot more feral than we've seen Casey up to this point. And it's very strange, and I think it's very intentional that it looks like Wolverine.
And funny enough, you want to talk about like an artist who takes two different takes at the same thing and does it two different ways.
Yeah.
So this is also a Bizet cover, but what's funny is that
I see it down there. Yeah.
This looks so different, and Raphael in particular looks more like he's from IDW than anything. Do you get that vibe?
Not really IDW, but definitely something like.
It's reminding me of somebody's art. Like, it's reminding me of somebody's artwork that worked on IDW. I don't think it was the main. I don't think it was the main artist. I think it was somebody else.
Okay.
That did some of the micros or something.
Right.
That really kind of got me thinking about that. But it's his rounded head.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like we've seen that. We've seen that turtle before.
I when you point me in that direction, I can see what you're talking about a little bit. Yeah. There's.
I'm trying.
It's a different take.
Quick search, just trying to find this artist. Because it's been so long since we discussed IDW.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Santaluco.
Oh,
so it's our boy Santaluco, who I love.
Oh yeah.
Santaluco does, and not always, but Santaluco's style is having the head a little bit more rounded in general, downplaying the stubbiness, like the beak being a full face thing going all the way to the cheeks.
Yeah.
Playing the beak a little bit more like it's just a wider nose.
Right.
Like letting there be cheeks. And if you look up Santaluco's art for IDW, it looks like this, like the head. Now, obviously, his style when it comes to the muscular frame and stuff is very different than this.
Yeah.
But the head is, it reminds me of, that's what it was. It reminds me a lot of Santaluco's work for IDW. A lot of it.
Yeah, no, I can see that now that you mention it that way. But yeah, so that's the cover. And I gotta say,
it's really cool.
I think I prefer this one just because it's so.
There's
strange.
also something in. I think there's also something kind of in the duality in Casey's mask.
Yeah.
Half of it looks like it's unpainted. The other half is all crazy. One eye, the eye on the American side is bloodshot. The eye on the normal side is not bloodshot. Right. I think there is some kind of statement maybe about like, you know, I mean, not to go into art appreciation or anything, but something about the duality of Casey Jones. The idea that he can be, I think what this comic, what Body Count's one of its, you know, things that shows us in the comic is that Casey can be that dude who's, you know, munching on pizza, just sitting there with April in the farmhouse.
Yeah.
But another aspect of Casey that you know is there is the guy with the American flag mask who looks like that, who looks like Wolverine. Like there's another side of him. I think that that's supposed to be expressed in the cover, and I really like that.
And I think they do a good job of it.
They do a great job of it. But yeah, no, we get two different covers. It's kind of fun.
It is.
I guess in the future, you know, I know with IDW we're gonna have to look at all the retailer incentive covers. And
that's gonna be
all that stuff they did. You know,
wild.
RI collectibles, rares, this and that. But yeah, are you ready to unlock this bad boy?
Let's do it.
So, like I said, originally published October 1994 by Mirage Comics, later republished with the rest of the series, continued 2 years later in 1996 by Image Comics. This is Casey Jones and Raphael, #1, Body Count, #1, if you're nasty. The image we're showing you right now, because it's from our scan, is incorrect. So the credits are Pencils, Inks, Covers, Simon Bisley, because Kevin Eastman was incorrectly given credit for pencils, and that's not true. Kevin Eastman did story and layouts. You have letters and colors, Steve Levine. Computer colors, Altered Earth Arts, which once again is A.C. Farley's company, previous artist for Mirage.
Yes.
His company, digital coloring and digital art company. And then you have Eric Larson is the publisher for Image, as well as Josh Eichhorn is the stooge for Image.
Oh,
I don't know if that's their Victor Gorlick. I don't know what a stooge is. That's your credits there. So technically, in Image called Body Count Part 1. So we let me open it. Can
you do that? Can you?
That's really annoying. Okay, so here we go. So you get past your landing page, which you know is your classic, very this is so 90s. Very digital, mixed media, like black and white. Like it felt like in the 90s they had to be like, and you saw this in album art too in the 90s. It was like, what if I took a photo and I put it in the digital computer,
right, and
I made the colors inverted, and that's art. And that's what you get with your title page. Also, really fast, we're going to be covering the backup, Guzzi Le Mans, which is the backup story in this comic. Story and art by Jim Lawson, computer coloring, Altered Earth. So that's going to be an example of full digital coloring.
Oh yeah,
in the backup, if you're nasty. So we open up on this fight scene, and a lot of this comic is fight, because it is raw, unmitigated. Image style, Frank Miller, eat your heart out, just be prepared. It is very different than like kind of anything we've seen so far so imagine, put yourself in 1994, you're hanging and you get this guy because that cover's crazy. That looks like it's actually the mid-90s. Holy crap. And you buy it. And you open the first page up and you see this, where you have Casey Jones punching the hell out of some guy in some bar. Yeah. New York, Lower East Side. A few of the local socialites discuss politics, and they are going crazy. You know, it's followed by a lot of like the experiment with 9-panel in the next page, classic 9-panel style. Oh yeah, a lot of deforming hits and punches going on, stuff like that. And effectively, it's Casey Jones in battle with this one massive guy. He is like gigantic, and there's a point where Casey is holding his own, hell, maybe even winning, but there's the classic, he goes to lay another punch and boy catches it.
Yeah.
And know, even in real fights, that if dude catches punch, you're done.
Right.
I don't care how much you beat him. It's like when Hulk Hogan used to do that whole like, oh, 1, arm goes down, 2, down, 3, and it comes back up. Like, he's gonna win. He hulks out and he beats you. It doesn't matter how bad he's cut. It doesn't matter how bad it is. You've been kicking his ass for an hour. You're done now.
You're done
because he hulked out. When your fist gets caught by a hand, you're done.
Yeah. You're done. That's the rules. I just want to say this. What are the rules for this? What are the rules for this move right here? Where Casey is simultaneously punching and stomping on this dude's head. Like,
I would say so obviously the art's really cool.
It's great.
It's just like, why not just punch and kick him?
Yeah.
I would say that the problem presented there is that unless you time those two things perfectly, one of them doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Right. That's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If the fist hits a little first, the head back.
Right.
And if the foot hits first, then you know what I'm saying? So now if you time it up at the same time,
then
I mean that's kind of like stealing the book of secrets in a way.
Is.
There's nothing wrong with it, but some people might not like
stealing the book.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's all it is. But yeah, he catches the hand, and then it turns around. We eventually see Casey at the bottom of this page on the ground, throttled, cigarettes, beer everywhere. Casey's super beat up, and this is where like the art. This isn't my favorite art.
Yeah,
like I'm just gonna say that it's not. I don't hate it.
No.
But something about the combo of the coloring, all the panels put together, all the things. Kevin Eastman does great layouts typically, but this is a little bit like so frantic and so many little panels of fighting that it starts to become a blur to me.
Yeah,
frankly. Now a little backstory. So at this point in the game, Kevin Eastman is full on publisher of Heavy Metal magazine.
Yeah,
like
totally.
It's happened. The dream is alive. He is atop the castle, resplendent in his crown and cloak. Okay.
Yeah.
And this feels like it. This
Absolutely.
feels like I can do whatever I want, and I want to make the most aggressive, nasty comic. Peter Laird is not involved in this comic.
No.
One iota of Peter Laird's calm and collected Donatello-like mind is involved in this thing. Yeah. This is just no holds barred aggression and craziness. And it's actually kind of interesting to see Kevin Eastman. And remember,
Unfiltered.
He didn't do this art. This is just his layouts and story. But but layouts literally mean like, then he punches him and kicks him at the same time.
Right.
Then he does this. Then he does that. He's directing that.
Oh, of course.
It's so funny to see. Yeah, you're saying just unfiltered Kevin Eastman in this era in 1994. He is unchained.
Yeah,
he is a golden god, and his rage shall know no bounds. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's what we're seeing.
And I want to echo your sentiment about how like this art, it's definitely talent and it's definitely good. Like in the sense that it's better than anything I could do. If you want to see what I can do, stay till the end of the episode and watch our thank you to our patrons that I've made. That's pretty much what I can do. But this is very reminiscent of, I think it's Steve Dillon who did Garth Ennis's Preacher. It's very reminiscent of that.
Steve Dillon-esque. Although, like I say, I like this a lot more than the Steve Dillon though.
Interesting. Okay. Now
I'm not a big Steve Dillon fan, and that's just kind of me.
I'm not necessarily either. Now I totally give the dude props because it's good. It's quality stuff. Yeah, it's not my taste, but and I'm pretty sure that's what you're saying as well. But yeah, there's something. But the thing I have to say about both, this is Bisley. Yeah. Both him and Dillon is that their art is evocative of this scene. Like I feel gross and like I want to move away from this as soon as possible, just as if I was in a seedy bar that was having a big fight. Like, I want to like get out of there. You know what I'm saying? And so I think there's something to be said about that kind of artwork, to be able to make that that feel. So yeah.
No, it reminds me of Steve Dillon. It's got a big Steve Dillon feel, a little bit of like a Frank Quietly feel as well. Things I just don't. I mean, although the inking and stuff is thicker than like a Frank Quietly is very thin and weird. But it's not. Yeah, but once again, I mean, it's awesome art. Just not necessarily like my style. So Casey's basically beat up. So to run it all back, Casey's in a bar fight. Turns out, guy caught his fist. Guess what? Now you're done. And it happens. So we see that, the narrator says, nearby a lone figure's panic breaks the silence, and we see someone, a woman in purple garb, like running down the street, saying, "I think I lost him for the moment, anyway." And just at that moment, Casey Jones gets absolutely thrown through the front door of the establishment by the big lug who caught his fist and now deserves to win the fight. Right. Throws him right out in the street, like you can't go home, but you sure as hell can't stay here. Throws him directly into our mystery woman. Okay. And that causes problems because she starts kicking the hell out of him. She's like, why'd you bump into me, piece of shit? Right. She starts kicking him. And that didn't help Casey because he's down and out. Our big dude comes back out. You know what I'm saying? Your boy's like, but I'm back. And wants to beat him up again. I like this line here where he's like, "Back for a bit more fun, Mr. Jones, huh?" And I like how Casey's like, "No one calls me Mr. Pal," which I think is pretty funny.
Oh yeah.
And so Casey charges him again. Yeah. And I love that, like, there's just people falling out of the windows.
Yeah, this is like pandemonium.
This is like, because you don't know, like, by the art, I mean, it's just so crazy at the beginning. You don't know if it's not just like stuff going on around their fight, but you realize, oh no, like it's like a Wild West bar fight.
Yeah,
like, there's a dude in there swinging from the chandelier, and the whole 9 yards is happening. You know what I'm saying? Like guys are forgetting who are their friends. Everyone's knocking everybody out. Like enemies team up. It just no one knows anymore. That's basically what is going on in this bar. So we get to this point where now this woman, who's in the darkness now, is like, yelling at them. All of a sudden, this crazy car comes wheeling down the alleyway, trying to do a drive-by Uzi style, and she does the classic comics thing where they show a wide panel and they show like several of her, like to show how like the acrobatics of how she's avoiding the bullets. Right. And obviously when you see someone avoid bullets like that, I mean, it's one of those things in comics where it just kind of tells you like, okay, this person's like kind of a badass.
Yeah.
Right.
Now
like, they know what they're doing.
Right. Now, see, I've never been in a drive-by. Like, now we've been close. That one time that you, me, Farmer Greg, and Father Preston were here at the house, and we heard something happen. What we thought was a gunshot. We went outside, and we heard whistles, which we thought might have been, I don't know, gang related or something. And
no, you're kind of backtracking on what happened that night.
Oh, forgive me.
We were playing a board game. There were certainly two actual gunshots down your street. I know what a gun sounds like. It wasn't a backfire or fireworks. It was gunshots.
I know. Yeah.
Then we go outside, and we think we hear it. We literally hear the friend or foe identification gang whistles, the actual bird whistles, to make sure everyone knows where everybody is right as we're out there.
Right.
And then, more importantly than anything, you and I are standing up just in the middle of the open, just going, this is nuts. You hear those whistles?
Yeah.
Greg Roberts, classic, behind the actual engine block of the truck, being smart.
Right, exactly. So
now play it. Pop, draw two cards was real life.
It was. Oh, I forgot that's what we called that. But yeah, no. So I don't know if that's about as close as I've been to any kind of like, I don't know, gun violence maybe. But like,
We've been through a lot of drive-throughs.
That's true.
Not
that is
drive-bys.
true. Yeah. And now I've never
a huge difference.
Right. Now if like something's like if someone's handing me food and it's about to drop, I can do moves like this lady's doing here. But like now if you know, guns a-blazing, like I don't know.
Yes,
some people might do this and they might even be superhuman. That's just a natural instinct. I don't know. But like, if you've done this, let us know. You know, definitely let us know in the comments below if this is something in your reality. But as far as we can tell, this is about as close as we get to it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I want to give a little attention. If you scroll down a bit, I want to give a little attention to the layouts here. You know, because Kevin's really good at these, and we saw this. We've seen it so many times over the journey. Love the kind of the 2 panels sneaked in the bottom left corner of the guy firing the gun.
Yeah.
Not only does the color give contrast to, like, it kind of gives contrast to what's around it, which is a great thing in art in general.
Right.
But also just something about it, it keeps that momentum of him still firing up, and I love that layouts on that. Absolutely love it. He hasn't broken the panel yet, which is a typical Eastman thing. So I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Oh,
if he
yeah.
does that later, because that's like my favorite thing he does. But yeah. So gunshots are over. People get out of the car to, I mean, hopefully find this person dead. I think, but don't worry, because she's sneaking a little head out from behind a wall, and she goes, "This is gonna get messy, really messy." Like before in Hong Kong. Flashback time. And flashback time to the fact that we learned that this woman's name is Midnight. She's in the most futuristic car with a gentleman who looks like, I mean, we need to go ahead and show him. He looks like evil Dr. Paul Bearer Can't Hurt You. But he's there, and he can hurt you, and he has cyber hand.
He does. And if you don't know Paul Bearer, you need to do yourself a favor and look it up. He was one of our regional, I think we've talked about him a lot, but if you're new here, he was a regional horror host in the Tampa Bay area when we were growing up, and he's a legend and
Dr.
great.
Paul Bearer.
And so look him up on YouTube. But yeah, he I was getting like a little bit of like the old school Mandarin vibes, like the hair and the facial hair and and then the like the focus on the hand, like the spindly, like very like thin fingers kind of thing. That's what I was getting. And yeah, it's very interesting. He's got a scar on his eye, or 2 scars on his eye. So I'm surprised his name wasn't Scar, but yeah. So interesting.
Your boy's hanging out, and once again, like earlier, I forgot to mention earlier on, like she says, like, "Oh, it's Johnny." So we assume that this guy's name is Johnny. We find that out later, but you know, I just want to fill that in. So there's your boy Johnny if you need him. He's like, "It's time, Midnight. It's time." And they screech into another alleyway, because that's what they do back in the past in Hong Kong. And he says, "You know the score, Midnight. Back in a second." And I'm gonna save you this. I mean, he calls her Midnight about every time he talks to her. He says Midnight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got it. Like I got that she's called Midnight. I got that her name is Midnight. You just only had to do it this one time, and I would have got it because you put it in bold.
Right.
It's like bold.
That lets me know.
I got it. That lets me know. Hey, character, remember this name.
Yep.
But don't worry. Midnight's like one of the only like 5 words he knows. You know what I'm saying? MOON. That spells midnight. You know what I'm saying? And so effectively, it's the same kind of thing. She's waiting in the car. All the thugs get out, rack the slides on their guns. We're going. Okay. Yeah. So they kick the door into this, like, you know, what looks to be, I guess, like a restaurant or something, and kick the door in, and it's brutal. I mean, guys with Uzis blowing people's brains out. I mean, so like, don't worry. Like, it's real. Like,
it's pretty bad.
And it's really intense. It's one of those things, man. It's that 90s, like, all right, so we all read comics in the 80s. We're all grown up now. Okay, cool. Yep. Still read comics because they're screwed up. And that's basically what this is. And oh no, you know, so Midnight's in the car, and outside she sees a SWAT van kind of pull up, and several like armed figures in black roll out, and she's like, oh, it's a setup, right? And we kind of soon find out. Go to the top of that page. This is great. So this artwork up here,
and fair warning, it's a little gruesome. So
it's super gruesome, yeah, super graphic.
So
I mean, obviously, like,
fair warning.
yeah,
but
so what I love so much about this, like, you know, color direction and art direction, is the panels lit only by the reflection of the gunfire.
Yeah.
Just going like stripped down duo shade in this zone.
Yeah.
And then popping back out kind of once you get, you know, and you've noticed in this, it's like in the art, it's like Johnny seeing red. Because everything else is red duo shade except for Johnny, who's in full color.
Right.
Big fan of that whole sequence. Can you zoom out enough to where they can see the whole thing at once? Or
yeah, I was a little skeptical about it just because of how gruesome it was, but I feel like we warned people enough.
No, whatever, dude. I mean, like, let's be honest. Like, I mean, if you know, whatever. So that page is awesome. Like, just because of how we talked a lot about when we do comics about how Eric and I are big fans of the page flip. Like when you flip a page and you open and you see another page, like how that page unfolds to your eye, and how that's really kind of like that's next level comic layout work. Where, like, you're not just thinking about, like, oh, it's 9 panel and you're reading a comic book and the next page just continues the story. Page reveals and stuff like that are gigantic, and people that do great layouts do page reveals right.
And your boy,
this is a hell of a page reveal.
Your boy Kevin is a master at that.
He's a master. He was a master. I mean, he was a master in layouts and page reveals and page timing in Mirage 1. Like, he was already there. But he's just perfected it. And I want to say this because this isn't like my favorite comic, so I want to really point out the things that I objectively see as really good, and this is really, really good. So and Kevin displayed too, starting with Return to New York and into City at War and some of the heavier stuff that the Turtles did in Volume 1. Kevin started to show an eye for cinematics.
Yes.
Like, we talked a lot about it. City at War it's like a movie on paper. Like, it's just it's shot and it's edited like a movie.
Yeah.
And he has an eye for cinematics. I know a lot of this is inspired by John Woo and stuff like that. And he did it. So I really love this page, and I just wanted to show that off.
Okay.
So in stark contrast, we see that one of his boys informs us that Shakur and Johnny's like, cover me, because that's obviously the target. That's like who we're gonna go after. So Midnight gets out of the car and she's like, this is gonna get messy. And it's kind of a callback to what she says earlier in the alley in our time. And she's got to go in there and try to take the heat off of Johnny for a minute, because these, you know, the police or whoever are there to, like, you know, like, get him.
Yeah.
So she runs in and starts shooting at the disparate. I don't even know if these are police officers. They're wearing tactical suits like they are, but there's no badges.
Oop.
I don't know. I'm gonna assume they're cops.
Yeah.
She's just like blasting the hell out of these people. And it's pretty wild. So they go back to fire at her, and she does what she wants to do, which is cause a distraction.
Yeah.
So her gun runs dry. She has to run from bullets, just like she did in the real time, like earlier, right? She gets through there. So turns out your boy Johnny kicks in the private door of your boy Shakur, and drops his line, unfortunately, after he shoots who he believes is Shakur.
Yeah.
Like, he shoots Shakur through, like, his chair that's turned around at the desk.
Right.
And, I'm sorry, I messed it up. He shoots somebody that's in the room that actually dies.
Yeah.
Then he aims the guns at Shakur behind his desk and says, "It's over, Shakur. Johnny Woo Woo never misses a hit."
Yeah.
Yo, if your name's Johnny Woo Woo,
yeah, you don't.
That's not my boy named Sue. That's some boy named Sue shit. Like,
oh yeah,
like the fact that he's survived up to now, like, you get robot hands. If you survive
definitely.
life is named Johnny Woo Woo.
You do.
Like, you survive.
Now,
and you thrive.
Well, real quick, I wanted to. So, did you think that this could just be me? So I read this as Shakur, like Tupac Shakur, like that's. So I read it as if Shakur, like, because this would have been in where that would have been relatively relevant. He would have been. So that's just like, oh, interesting. I wonder if that was something that not that. Maybe just in name only, and then the fact that, well, he was a rapper that rapped about violence a lot.
It was in the era of 1994, right?
So,
I mean, like, it was the right year. I
mean, someone that's majorly famous that is that raps about violence, among other things, obviously, but like, just it's a pop.
I just don't know why you would shoot Tupac Shakur in effigy.
Oh, I don't either. I don't either. I'm just thinking that like. Of the time, I didn't think about it too far.
Man. I don't know.
I just thought Names
it was like,
weird.
you're not. I mean, it's good to point out. At the same time, I mean, our villain is named Johnny Woo Woo.
It's true.
So names are kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes in this comic, we've got a girl called Midnight, and then we've got Johnny Woo Woo.
Exactly. So it could be either way. I mean, who knows?
Who knows? Either way. Your boy drops his big, like, trying to be the shepherd kind of final line, his big Bible quote before I say some real dark shit before I kill somebody kind of thing. And then he shoots him, and then the chair turns around, and it's a dummy that has a sign on it that says, "Screw you." I love that. Yeah. Probably favorite part of the comic, besides that panel when it was just lit by the gunshots. Yeah, there you go. I'll tattoo that on my body.
Oh,
anyway,
my Lord.
So this is when Johnny Woo Woo decides it's a setup.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, setup.
Yeah.
And he starts yelling for Midnight.
Yeah.
He's just yelling for Midnight.
He pulls a Burn Thompson.
Midnight will get us out. Midnight.
He pulls a Burn Thompson down at the bottom where he's just going, go, 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 go.
Oh, he does. He does.
Do I have that?
He's also.
I do. There it goes. Right there. Go, 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 go,
go. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Channeling Burn Thompson 100%.
Right.
Also pulling a Michael from Lost, where he just won't stop saying his son's name. Walt!
Oh. What?
Walt! Walt! For like 2 seasons. Walt, shut up, dude. Like it's good.
Yeah.
Midnight, get us out of here. Midnight. Right? Well, the problem is, like, your boy, like, Johnny Woo Woo is trying to walk out the thing, and then the cops are like, freeze, Woo Woo, we got you cold.
Mm-hmm.
And then Midnight's like, run, Johnny, I'll cover you.
Right.
And she takes one in the shoulder, which sucks.
Yeah.
And she falls, and he screams like, Midnight. And then cut him down, boys. And then, like, the I think that's the cops.
I think it is.
Man, giving all these people a look, man, I don't even know if these guys are cops, frankly. But I don't know what's going on. That's part of it. Is like the art makes it harder. Everybody looks so garish.
They do.
Everybody looks so garish and over the top that you don't know who anybody kind of is, and that's another criticism of the art, at least to me.
These remind me of the mutants from I think they were called the mutants from Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. The guys with the glasses. Yes, it kind of reminds me of that.
That's actually like really close. Yeah, that looks a lot like them.
And
absolutely.
It's and for audio listeners of the podcast, it's kind of like where the art is hyperbolically putting into into art, into paint, into drawing what these cops feel like to these people, like kind of like they feel like monsters for some reason. And that could be me projecting that on there, and that's what it is. Or these could literally be monsters. Who knows? But
well, remember too, the comics like this are kind of inspired a lot by like other like just general counterculture work. Steve Dillon and Frank Quitely, we talked how the art is very similar. That's just very counterculture artwork. All that comes out of England. All that comes from Judge Dredd. And over here it came from Ratfink and like all this different stuff. There's the origin of counterculture comics goes back to literally the creation of the Comics Code Authority in the late 50s. Like it goes back there. That's literally when Mad Magazine gets created, because the guy who made Mad Magazine could no longer publish horror comics.
Yeah.
If the Comics Code Authority had never happened, Mad Magazine would never have actually happened. So you have Comics Code Authority, by the book, yes sir, no sir, big two comic artists who have to show that capitalism is always the best way and America wins every time. Like that's the comics they have to make.
Right.
And then you have guys in like San Francisco and in like Sussex and stuff in England, like making the dirtiest comics you could ever make. And it's almost a statement that it's that dirty. That it's like, how gross and grotesque and awful can I make this? And it found a home in England because like they could publish that stuff there.
Right.
So this is so Judge Dredd. Everything is awful. Everyone looks awful. And that's really what this artwork shows.
It does.
If anything, it's a great application of the art style. Even though the art style is not my favorite.
Right.
Definitely Kevin Eastman's going for that style of book. Perfect art for the book. Right? If it was mega clean, it would honestly probably be a really boring comic. It'd be like,
absolutely,
shoot, everyone shoots.
There's some fighting.
It's panels like this that, there's more fights. Okay, Midnight runs away. Midnight, help. Johnny Woo Woo, and we're done. I mean, let's be honest. And maybe a little talk about Tupac Shakur, and then we're out of it. Guy with screw you sign. I'm all about that. I'll just say that again. But that's what I'm seeing here is everything's grotesque, but the problem is, when everything's grotesque, nothing is grotesque. Nothing is.
That's fair.
Right. There's no means for comparison.
Right.
But yeah. Also, I'm getting Eddie from Iron Maiden vibes.
Oh yeah,
You're getting
that's
Eddie
true too.
vibes off this with the glasses and like this. Yeah, it just looks very.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's the cops or whoever passes as the opposing force to Johnny Woo Woo. And they basically last stand. Johnny Woo Woo is like, they're not taking us alive.
Yeah.
And as a result, all of his men die. Just sells their lives cheaply.
Yeah.
And he runs off saying midnight. Now, this is the part where, am I going to hand it over to you yet? I got one more page.
Okay.
This is the part where the comic turns for me. And I kind of, and maybe you can help me like kind of get this. So things went south back in Hong Kong because Johnny Woo got set up, and when he knew it was a setup, he called for Midnight to help. Midnight literally fired into the fracas to get him to cover him until she was wounded and taken down.
Right.
Johnny Woo Woo has a grand last stand to all of his dudes die, but he gets away and he's just saying Midnight. Now it turns out he's come to kill Midnight. Now there could be more comic, right, that like explains this, I guess, like that they go into this more. And so I'm not saying that this is just bad comic doesn't tell me what I need to know right now.
Right.
But I'm curious if throughout your half of this, and if you, from your interpretation, if you got anything more behind this sudden change of like back in Hong Kong versus now that like I missed, because I just don't see why when the dude like says your name every 2 seconds, like you're his lost daughter or something. Now he's trying to literally gun you down in the streets of New York.
Yeah. I
kind of makes sense.
I agree with you. I feel like there is a little bit of disjointedness here. It's a little confusing, and also it's kind of strange that you have a whole mass of like cops that are or people that are shooting at you, like at least probably like 10 people, guns a-blazing at you. And you get hit by one stray bullet, just in like in your shoulder, and that's it, and you're down. Like that seems a little weird. But yeah, I don't fully understand where the animosity between the two, Midnight and Johnny Woo Woo is coming from with any of this.
And once again, maybe it'll be revealed, but at least you feels kind of a bit of like a jarring thing, because the whole comic's kind of jarring, and then you get here and you're kind of like, oh, and now Johnny Woo Woo wants to kill her, and I'm like, you add that on top of everything else, and I'm kind of like, I don't get it, and I don't know, like, I guess that's why you read more issues.
No, that's true.
Although there is like an actual real voice that says like, well, I mean, you do want him to read the second issue, right?
You do, so you can't give him everything, so you can't.
No, I mean the opposite. I mean, but you got to give him enough You gotta put honey in there, not vinegar. Do you know what I'm trying to say? A little bit. Like,
I do.
You do want him to buy the next issue. Give him something.
Well, I think that Kevin Eastman, a lot of his honey is somehow involving this lady. I think that's the honey that he's wanting you to come back for more of. So
not wrong.
Yeah.
Not wrong. But
Yeah. So I'm with you though. I feel like it is a little weird and disjointed, but it does appear as though that was the backstory, that is where we're at now, where Midnight is still on the run from Johnny Woo Woo, and she finds herself in this bar with our, I would say titular character, but and this one is just body count, but our fan favorite, love of the show, Casey Jones, whatever, yes. You know him well.
Yeah, you know it. You know what it. You
know who he is. He is. This fight is still going on that we saw earlier, and it's just, and Casey lives for this stuff. Like, this is what he's here for, and so Midnight ends up getting all wrapped up in this bar fight. That's just this bar brawl, and it's just pandemonium everywhere. Casey's getting his ass handed to him, but he's a lot like kind of how you're talking about Hulk Hogan, but like someone else who's more just like really into some like he loves getting beat up. Like that's gets him 6 to midnight. You know what I'm saying? And also likes dishing it out as well. So anyway, your boy, Butterball, whatever his name is, ends up hitting Midnight, just swatting her. Like, now, it looks like it's a slap, especially considering it says slap, like, right there. But which I guess is better than a full-on fist. I don't really know. Like,
yeah.
That's...
Yeah, I mean that's what I always heard.
Yeah, that's just strange. But he calls her a stupid chick, and she is bleeding on to her chest and says, first class mistake, knob end. Interesting name there. We might have
way to put that.
Yeah, we might have to throw that in the old lexicon. Yeah. But and at this point we've been getting scenes of Johnny Woo Woo coming, like making his way to her because he's on her trail. And
John,
again,
sorry, really fast. John Klein says Johnny Woo Woo goes boo boo.
Oh lordy day. So we see and again more panel stuff, like more great panel work where we see Midnight make short work of this like half naked man that's just looks like somebody that you'd fight in Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and just like totally. I just love it. It's just great. This looks like classic Mirage up here at the top. I feel like, and I am totally here for that. So once she finishes with the knob end, Casey Jones properly introduces himself, and she does not take in with him whatsoever. But we do get to see that Johnny Woo Woo is here, and he makes himself known with some gunshots, which is the proper way to make yourself known in any kind of scenario that you can. And he just says Midnight yet again. That was his one line.
Because he cannot actually stop saying Midnight.
Right. Yeah. That's just the thing.
Like, I don't even think, like, honestly, I'll be 100. At this point, I don't even think that's actually her name. I think that's like a tick he has.
It could be.
And she's known as Midnight because that's what he says all the time.
That's just what he says all the time. Yeah, and he's looking at her when he says it, so people just assumed, and then there you go. It's too much work to correct it, so you just accept it.
There you go.
So this is a scene that is this next page is a it's kind of a trope, but I do like it nevertheless because it's an interesting thing in storytelling in general. But once Johnny Woo Woo has established himself as an opposing force, this unites the bar as a rallying call to be like, okay, let's set aside our differences. And
I do like this actually.
Yeah, and most of them are like, I think they all kind of share the sentiment with Casey that he says here. He hates guns. Just guns are stupid, and like he's like, I hate them, And he's like, "Who's this butthole anyway?"
He calls him a straight butthole. That's just the funny.
He
sometimes in a world full of the worst curses.
Yes.
Just calling someone a butthole, like it cuts right through all the mess.
Cuts to the core.
It just makes it the funniest thing you've heard. Yeah.
Right. And so then we get a little bit of context from Midnight, where she says that she says, "Damn it all to hell, Johnny. You know I didn't betray the family. You know this is wrong. Time to face facts." And so apparently, Johnny Woo's just been like following his aunt on Facebook and just got all the information wrong from that family and needs to listen to the real family. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely got that. Yes, that is your aunt on Facebook. And Johnny Woo is like, no, but I read it.
Exactly.
But I read it, so it's real.
Exactly. So so we continue reading that Midnight, I guess this is a whisper where she kind of whispers, "Mr. Jones, if there's a back way out of here, show it to me now." Now, I do want to say that he did make it clear that he doesn't like to be called Mr. Jones, but apparently if you are of the opposite sex of him, he is okay with any name you really want to give him, which is, that's understandable. We, then the page, this is insane. Like it's wild. So we turn the page and we get a similar shot of the room being lit by the gunshots. And we get a weird looking Casey Jones rushing this girl. Like just rushing her to the back door. And it's kind of wild.
It looks like a different person. I don't even know what that looks like.
It does.
That's kind of weird.
It is very strange.
That's kind of weird.
And these again, the group that's with Johnny Woo Woo, they just like light up the entire bar, and so people are just like blood and guts everywhere.
Yeah.
And so then we get to see more of how calipigous Midnight is, and also Casey Jones, pretty calipigous as well.
Wait, did you cut? Wait, you gotta go back. You cut my favorite panel.
Oh, did I? You were wanting to see the whole bar
massacre? You gotta go
massacre?
full page on this. Absolutely.
All right,
no,
there you go.
Eric, this is the woman in the foreground. This is how you looked when I met you, dude.
That
and I feel like you're
true.
covering it up.
I was a little embarrassed.
Full ass over tea kettle.
Yeah,
full ass over tea kettle.
I kind of was hoping to avoid this, but here we are. But yeah,
I don't know why. I mean, it's part of the comic. Why do you want to avoid it? It's part of the comic, man.
I was talking about
part of the review. I mean, like
I was talking about.
Check it
I was
out.
talking about the way I was dressed. That's what I was in reference to.
Well, I mean, like, why are you trying to avoid that? I mean, like, we're open with everybody. Like, we peel the curtain back, unedited, raw. You know what I'm saying? And I still don't know why.
Yeah, you actually look like a combination of the dude with the biker jacket, which I think it's here. Yeah. Let me see if I can zoom in. It says Bastards Northampton. No, is that Hampton? No. Oh yeah. You're right. And then
Northampton is it's either spelled Northampton or Northampton.
Right.
Sometimes
exactly.
It's like a combined. Like yeah.
And then this dude right here with the 69 shirt. That was a combination of you and him. Like,
yeah,
you were wearing the jacket.
My biker leathers.
Yeah,
I was wearing my biker leathers, but I had the 69 shirt on, and I was laying on a table.
You were.
When you were like that.
And then that was me right there. That was.
And then I said, "Hey man, you write songs too?"
Yeah.
And that's how we met.
That's exactly how we met. And it's like, hey, you want to talk about the Ninja Turtles for like 10 years every Thursday?
See, you were always so flashy.
I was.
I was just that guy laying there in the 69 shirt.
That's true. You know I mean? Most people behind the curtain, I actually still wear those fishnet stockings every episode. That's all I've got underneath there. So so there we go.
We have a funny thing at Game Show. He sits Professor X style with like a little blanket over his legs.
Yep.
And then after we're done recording the thing, we get done with the post game show and we sign off, and y'all see Cuddly in that. He does a recreation of like the "For the Thrills" thing from Rocky Horror Picture Show. And he like lifts his leg up and like the blanket falls off, and it's like the full fishnets.
It's full. I can't even say that. Full fishnets. There we go. I did it.
Full fishnets.
Well,
sorry.
As they make their way to the exit. No. You're good.
Yep.
You're good. This is it was the way the Lord intended. We did it. So amidst this massacre of just innocent barstanders, if you will, Casey Jones and Midnight make their way to the exit stage left, and they are running outside in New York City, presumably, and they end up. I guess in such a frantic, they end up falling down into some garbage, which is the worst thing to do. But your boy Johnny Woo Woo catches up to them very quickly, and because Casey Jones is like, his brain's all rattled, like he doesn't know really what's going on, and so Johnny Woo Woo, he said he puts this all kind of on Midnight and says, look, a lot of innocents just bought it. Not that I care for that bright move, Midnight. It ends now, which makes me feel like he didn't really want to kill all of them, but I mean, he still did, so that's a little strange.
Yeah,
but yeah,
strange.
And then we get some of my favorite art in this book, which is here. I'm gonna zoom in here. So then you see Midnight looking a little different, a little bit more somber, and a little bit like just. It's kind of like whenever you see somebody like that in one context, but then you see them in a different like scenario with other people, and they look drastically different. That's kind of how I see Midnight here. But she goes, yeah, you know how this stupid stuff or how this stuff keeps you up at night, and you ever think of if I'm one of the victims? So she's basically saying that, maybe I'm like those innocent people. Like, do you ever think about that?
Yeah.
And he's like, it doesn't matter what you think.
Because earlier he throws in the I don't care.
Exactly.
Which is where he's like, look, a lot of innocents just bought it. Not that I care for that bright move, Midnight. And she's like, dude, like, I spent all this time with you, bro. I was like in your like stupid like future car, bro. I know you cry about this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, don't front in front of these people. I was that's what's up.
Oh, exactly. And so he says he's got his orders, and if I disobey, I die. It's me or you. And then this right here. I love this. This is so good. And Casey Jones, our boy, saying, look, meathead.
Yeah.
Why don't you drop that puppy and let's rumble mano y mano? And I love it.
That's literally Bennett from Commando.
Yeah.
Come on, John, drop the gun.
Yeah.
Don't you want to fight with a knife?
Right.
Come on, man, let's fight with knives. I'm like, Bennett, I'm going to shoot you.
Well,
Bennett, you idiot.
The thing I love about Casey is that this is how Casey, this is Casey's, it's his love language, to be honest. Like, he's going to fight with this dude. And the thing is that it's going to tell Casey more about this guy and his character than any like, like lip service will ever do. And I really enjoy that because it gives a little bit more credence to his Casey Jones's brutish character, that there's like actually more thought to it besides like just primal rage. It's just he needs to get like very close and like brutally intimate with another being to fully understand. Now, granted, there is the side of him where he can have a civil conversation with April and the guys and the turtles and stuff. But I still like this side of Casey as well. At this point, though, Johnny Woo Woo still is not putting down the puppy. He's not putting down his puppy, and
no puppies.
So
we're doing this.
So he says that, come on, Johnny Woo Woo's like, I don't know what his voice is here. It's very strange. He goes, no time for fun and games. Chisel neck is what he calls him. Places to go, things to do. Bye now. Come on, dudes. I want to be back in Hong Kong for dinner tomorrow. Take 'em out. And then all
why
of a
would
sudden,
you just do it, Johnny Woo Woo?
Yeah,
like,
why don't you?
That
You
makes
have the
no
metal
sense.
hands. Yeah, it makes no sense.
I guess because he doesn't want to do it. It's weird. It feels like he doesn't want to. It feels like he doesn't want to kill Midnight and Casey.
Does. It does.
By his own.
Right. But
I'm gonna kill you, and then he's like, "But I want to go home, so y'all kill him."
Right.
And it's like, what is that? Like, I think it's trying to illustrate that, like, Johnny Woo Woo is like, he knows what he's got to do, but he still feels attached to Midnight, so he won't do it. But it's a weird way of showing it.
or they're trying to make him out to be a character that actually doesn't like to kill people, but feels like that he has to and will, but doesn't want to.
Okay.
And it could also be the
hit.
Well, that's true too. But if you don't take that many hits, I mean, your record could be, a lot better.
If you don't inhale,
exactly,
you don't take, then it didn't happen.
Then it didn't happen. Precisely.
That's what old William Jefferson taught me.
Old William Jefferson. Johnny Woo's saying "see ya," and he's got the gun pointed at him. Then they hear this noise.
It's happening.
Rip. And
rip.
Yeah,
let her rip.
And all of a sudden, this ladder falls on your boys.
On everybody.
Just on everybody. And you got Johnny Woo Woo being like, "Hey, who's up there?"
Hey.
And
who's up there?
Then for the first time this issue, except for the cover, we get your boy Raphael, an actual Ninja Turtle in this book.
Facts.
And yeah, this image is very interesting. I like it and I don't like it. It's very
there's
a lot of
there's some Eric Larson going on with the left arm.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
a
lot of
Eric
veins.
Larson. Like that's like run out of Savage Dragon right there, dude.
It is. It very much so is. It's definitely Image. Like which is ironic because this book was put out before they were actually acquired or with Image. But
isn't that weird?
It is. But but Raphael, like his perspective's weird, but also I think this is a little bit of the altered Altered Earths it's not necessarily the 3D thing, but it's got some of those similar ideas in there, but also his toes are very strange. Like they're very like they almost look like fingers, like they're elongated. It's a little odd. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
There is. And but I do like this, and it is very menacing and kind of like it's the Image style. Like looking a little bit like Spawn or Venom, like just kind of grinning with a whole bunch of teeth. That's way too many teeth. And yeah, so that's the actual story. We have a preview of next issue, which is Casey Jones Raphael #2. They'll tear us to pieces. We got to get out of here midnight. And yeah, we get to see what looks to be
in 2 years.
Oh yeah, exactly. But we get what looks like Raphael in the back of a car with Midnight shooting at Johnny Woo in another car, and Casey Jones is the wheelman. Which that's a thing. So we have that to look forward to. Now
he's a wheelman.
We do have a backup that's in here, or an extra story that is very short. It's called let's see. It's called Goozy Le Mans. That's the title, right?
Yeah.
And sorry. Jumped back. Yeah, and so we have art and story by Jim Lawson. And so we all know and love Jim Lawson, great artist and storyteller. Here we have him drawing an engine to a car, and we have a lady who's working on this car. Very much Jim Lawson. You can just tell immediately. Even if the signature wasn't there, you know who it is. So this woman is in a garage. A dog named Trika comes up and greets her, and she all of a sudden hears a buzz at the door. She grabs her gun, as you do, and it turns out that I meant to say, I need to go back real quick because I got it right here. This takes place in the year 2032, which is like 11 years from now. This is the far-flung future for those in 1994, 1996. She hears the buzz. She goes to check her garage door, and it has this screen panel that says voice identify, and it says shithead, access denied. And so she ends up letting them in, and it's this character. And Ryan, what does this character look like? Can you explain him to everybody?
So this boy is A lot about living, little about love with the shorts, and the boots. You know
definitely.
what I'm saying? Like he's on the inner tube. He's going through the water.
He's got the acoustic
way
guitar
down yonder on the Chattahoochee. He's got his acoustic guitar. It's all fun and games. We do have an animatronic or a cybernetic kind of arm like replacement on the left side. Got some actually kind of cool tattoos. On his like kind of banding on his right arm, and he's got a shaved head, and he's got obviously the vest that all heavily tattooed men who are a lot about living, a little about love wear.
Right.
So that's what he looks like. He's just a dude.
Yeah.
He's here.
So he's there, and he greets the dog by name, hi Trika, which lets us know that they're familiar. And he says, Goozy, long time no see. And he comes in, and she starts talking. She refers to him as Dorn, I believe. And, of course, this guy's name is Dorn. Like, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Right.
They talk about how he leads the tribe now. And he asks what she thinks of his canvas, which is presumably his body, but his is the canvas, but the art, the tattoo. A lot of these are done in home, apparently, that he did himself.
He literally admits to in home.
He does. Yeah, like that's from the horse's mouth. And
in home on himself.
Oh, yeah. So she asked what apparently the last time 3 years ago Dorn did not have the cybernetic metal arm, and so she inquires what happened, and he informs her that he replaced it and that it's beautiful. So she's taken extremely aback by this, but he informs her that it's the latest thing among us cybernetic transplant. Sorry. He informs her that it's kind of the latest thing among us, cybernetic transplants. So, so she jokingly says, ran out of stuff to pierce? And he's like, just kind of is like, yeah, we kind of did. And then that's where it led to. So, he starts asking about her tattoo, and he's like, can I see it? Can I see your tattoo? Like, Lawson,
that's what
Lawson doesn't show it here. There is an excerpt where he asked to see her tongue ring and asked if it's rusted, but then
he asked that, and she rightly said no.
Yeah, no.
And no,
exactly. So
but then she did give him this.
Yeah, she lets him see the tattoo, and he's surprised. He's like, I would have thought you would have got it removed or something by now. But she said that, and this is great, it reminds her not to do anything stupid ever again.
That's
basically.
pretty great.
Yeah, that's a sick
great.
burn. Then we he's talking about how it's the best he's ever done. And really this is what it is.
It's a little pathetic. I don't know why it's pathetic. It just to me, it's like it just felt like somebody coming by and being like, hey man, you got any more of them drugs? And you're like, I literally did that one time with you. He's like, okay, I was just checking if you had any more, cause I don't know, man. Like it feels like it feels kind of like, can I see it one more time? Can I see my baby? And you're like, God, really? Like that's weird, man.
It's very strange, and
it's very strange.
So
he's very proud of the dragon.
He is. So. She lifts up the back of her shirt and reveals this like ornate looking dragon, and from like an Eastern kind of like take on a dragon, and it also shows your boy Dorn that she is packing, that she's got. I should probably specify that she has a gun, and
absolutely.
Then he looks extremely menacing now, and he's like, "Oh, what? You don't trust me?" And
oh, you mean the guy that hacked off a perfectly good arm to replace it with robot arm, and it's only the 2030s, which I feel like that won't even be real in our reality.
You never know.
And then you said, hey,
yeah,
hey, would you pull your shirt up? Hey, hey, no, I don't trust you, man.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry,
I don't.
I just don't. Yeah.
So she inquires. She wants to know why he's there, and he informs her that he's like, "I'm not here to rekindle old romances. I'm here to offer you a job." And yeah, that's where it is to be continued.
You know, I don't. The art on this background is pretty cool, except for this panel.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
The proportion on her is so bad and weird.
It is, but
it's just not right. I don't know. It's the head. Why is her head so small? I don't know, man. I don't like to criticize Jim. I'm just saying, like, as the last panel, I was like, whoa. Like when I saw that, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Let's go ahead and flip it over. So it would not surprise anyone that Simon Beasley, known as Biz, if you need him, worked for both Heavy Metal and 2000 AD Home of Judge Dredd. Literally. Yes. Like, literally, like, just reading up on him and stuff. Yeah, absolutely that boy. Like, Simon Beasley, absolutely that guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely British counterculture artist, every bit of it. And actually also worked on The Authority / Lobo.
Oh,
which in the comments way earlier, M. Wilson mentioned that these books always had a Lobo feel to him.
Oh, so there's that. That could be
that. You're absolutely vindicated, M. This gentleman literally worked on Lobo.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There
you got
go.
it. You did it.
You did it. Yeah. So what did you think about, real quick, like this thing, like and this? Well, we talked about the backup pretty much because it's kind of what it is. Yeah. But like, what did you think about the actual? And real quick, sorry, I want to get to that, but I want to let new YouTuber viewers know that, like, the part of what our show is, if you're new, we don't do too much research to know whether or not certain things come back, or like we like to keep that mystery, because the whole premise is we're trying our best to do this chronologically, as close as we can. So we don't know if there's going to be any turtle related stuff with Jim Lawson's backups in these or not, but you know, nevertheless, he is so entangled with the Turtles that even if they don't, it still feels like it's a part of the same universe because it's Lawson. But anyway, back to what I was saying. What do you think about body count number 1, Ryan? Where are you at?
Well, finally. I think okay. So I've been guilty of not being the biggest fan of the British counterculture artists.
Okay.
You know, quietly, and the sort, not the biggest fan. So that being said, this book wasn't gonna knock my socks off.
Right.
M. Wilson earlier in the chat, everyone's been in the chat, it's pretty great.
Yes.
M was saying that we wouldn't have made it through the 90s. I guess not. I don't know if that comment was to mean like kind of criticizing this style of art. There was first of all, we did make it through the 90s because we are old.
We did, thankfully.
And I never liked this kind of artwork particularly.
Yeah.
Not to say I didn't like some stuff, like obviously a lot of stuff the Image did, but I also had a lot of other artists that I liked that didn't draw as like grotesque and weird as this style. I've just never been a fan of this style. So I did really not read Lobo. I kind of like, there was a lot of comics I didn't read because I didn't really like the art of it.
But me too.
All that being said, I feel like for what Kevin wanted to do with the book, he absolutely got the right artist. Steve Levine's colors were fantastic in this book. I know we talked a lot about that. Bringing the color and bringing like the isolation of the those gunfire, those red kind of gunfire flash scenes were so good. Kevin's layouts were a little like, you know, stayed and predictable in the beginning, but then opened up a lot and got really cool. So maybe that was him just kind of holding back for the introduction, and then like kind of breaking loose as he went, which I really liked. In general, I don't regret reading them at all. I don't regret reading the comic. You know what I mean? And I feel like that sounds like an insult.
It does,
but it also sounds like they're trying to lay more in. I think as the first issue, would I have like ran out and, well, I guess 2 years later when I ran out and bought the Image version of number 2. I don't know. Maybe 2 years later, I would have forgotten that it was just kind of a okay comic, and I would have gotten number 2 because why not? You know what I mean?
With that cover,
and probably picked up the reprint of number 1, picked up reprint of number 1, and fell in love all over again. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
That being said, and when I say I don't regret reading it, I know it sounds like a funny insult, but I mean it in the most sincerest form.
Yeah.
Like when you're not really a fan of the art style, when this is a very kind of a big departure from what we're used to seeing, you know what I mean? Yeah. And there's Johnny Woo Woo who just won't stop yelling midnight. The fact that I don't regret reading it is a really good thing. Like it's a really good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, do you know what I mean? Because we've read some comics on here that I absolutely regretted my time. I was like, okay, definitely. Well, like that's a waste of time. Yeah. Also, a lot of times, one thing that we do on this show that we've kept track of is part of the reason we don't look ahead, right? Like Eric was saying, part of the reason we don't look through and make sure and see if those boomerang threads come back and all that stuff is because we really try to put ourselves in the mindset of a person who's a avid Turtles fan and collector in the years we're in. Right. So part of that mindset for me when it always came to reviewing comics, and we did this with a lot of stuff we reviewed, was the idea of like, well, if I'm a TMNT fan right now, how do I feel about it? And when I go through that lens on this comic, I do feel a little bit like it was all right. Yeah. Like if I wouldn't go running down the street telling my friends about it 100%. Right. But I would have liked it. So that's kind of my opinions on it. Okay. Yeah, I'm not absolutely like blown away, but yeah. One comment that was made earlier when we were doing the review that I actually really want to read because I feel like this was like legit. John Klein says body count really shows off how well layered balanced Eastman.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
And I think that's a really good point. That's a really succinct and brief way to say a lot of what I was trying to get out earlier. And it's a very, very great point. Is the two of them made that it was that ham and cheese combo that they made things real cool. And Kevin Eastman is just raw unfiltered is a little intense.
I'd say peanut butter jelly, but you don't like peanut butter, so like that's
why I say ham and cheese.
Exactly. So there you go. But
peanut butter is the worst thing ever made. So.
I heartily disagree.
You hardly disagree?
No,
I'm glad we're in agreement.
You got me.
No, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna let you when you missaid something. I'm not gonna let you go back and fix it. I'm gonna act like you're an idiot. Oh, you said you hate peanut butter, then why do you eat it all the time?
Man, dang,
I don't know why.
Got me.
I'm in a weird mood. I'm sorry.
So I agree with most of everything.
I mean, I feel like where are you at?
I agree with most of everything you said. Pretty much that and I don't want to just regurgitate it all, so I'll just say that. But I will say one thing that's neat is that in this Ninja Turtles book, well, they're selling you on the idea that there is a Ninja Turtle in here, and there is one in here, just one, pretty much. Yeah. I'm of two minds about it. I feel like as a former child, if I had been when I was in my youth, having a limited amount of income to or disposable money to be able to purchase books, I would like to have my favorite characters in there. Now, Casey Jones is one of my favorite characters. However, you're selling me on Ninja Turtles being in here, and there's only one. Now, there's something to be said about, the big tease at the end, the big like, oh, you're reading this entire thing, waiting to see when the turtles are going to show up, and then they don't until the very end. On paper, that's like as you write it down, like. Turtles don't show up till the end. Like that doesn't sound sexy at all. That doesn't sound like good in any capacity. However, the idea that when you see an actual Ninja Turtle in this book besides the cover for the first time, it's unlike how you might have seen them for the most part, or at least in a very long while. Because I think up until now we've seen a lot of them as Jim Lawson draws them, which are good, but they're stylized, but they're not very. They don't look like an Image comic. Well, I take that back.
Yeah, it's a. I think I pick up what you're putting down. It's the idea of like when he bursts out on the scene, and you see him in you see a turtle in a very different format, it almost makes it impactful enough to justify it.
It does.
What you're saying?
Yeah. Because it's like, and in that regard, it sells you on the next episode because you're like, okay, now we've seen Casey do some stuff, and now I know who these people are, and now what's Raphael gonna do? Because the other side of this is like your own imagination. Now, that with comic books, we talked about it earlier in the issue and in the review that you and I are big fans of the page turn reveal, which is a big part about graphic novels. That is a huge thing. That books, print, like actual books, don't like just no picture books. I guess they don't fully have that aspect to them that they have to take into account the way that comics do. And so there is something to be said about showing this character in a different light that you can look forward to the next issue. Now, if they do this stuff again, where it's like, we don't see Raphael until the last page, and then he's like, I'm going to do something, like that's going to be problematic. But if it's a one-time thing, I think there is some appeal to that. However, your mileage may vary depending on your circumstances.
My counter argument to so I feel that my counter argument is a little bit that this is Casey Jones.
Oh yeah,
and Raphael.
That's true.
Like, they didn't say like Raphael Micro #2, baby, and then there's no Raphael. I mean, like they were telling you what it was. I mean, at least it was Casey Jones. Like he had the masthead, at least in the
That's true.
In the Mirage publishing, like the first Mirage issue of this that you saw.
Yeah,
the Casey Jones has the full masthead, and then Raphael's written under it. So I mean, like they didn't necessarily sell the 100. Now, granted, it's Mirage and it says Raphael, so I mean, a lot of people are like, "Well, let me get some Raphael." And it sounds like now that like he's entered the scene, it sounds now like, okay, now you're going to get your Raphael Casey team.
Oh, of course.
The first issue was kind of the setup.
Yeah.
So M said something in the chat I thought was pretty good. Not only did he call my peanut butter argument against you just now fourth grade court, is what he said. He said I took you to fourth grade court, which I agree.
He's not wrong.
He says just what Easy said. Was ready for some adult Turtles, especially after all them seasons of animated stuff and toys on the shelf, etc. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I the reason I really wanted to hit that. And then M says plus 94. Your boy was 20.
There you go.
Yeah, that hits different.
That hits different.
In 94, I was 12.
I was.
So it is 11. A little different. Like in 94. He says, so it hit a little different. Grow up enough to pay some rents. Kid enough to be working full time at KB Toys in the Mall of America.
Oh,
which, that's
dang.
true. So
that's awesome, man. I did not. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
That's
I think you woke Eric up. Eric was
man.
just like,
I'm back in the game, guys.
Look, KB Toys.
I was like Hulk Hogan on the third count, getting all.
You hulked out. You hulked out on 2.5 is what you did. And you went. You start slapping yourself, and like and it didn't matter. No, Em, you're right. That does being 20 in 94 does hit different.
It does.
Like we lived through the 90s, but let's be honest, right? I mean, like we were kids for the early part of that.
Yeah.
So word up. I guess in 94, coming fresh out the box, 20 years old, you're just like a man now. Like, and that's why, and like we were saying before, that's what we try to do as adults. Now we try to interpret this as like, how would I feel if I was an adult right now? We did that a lot when Mirage started going into the guest star area. Or era. They went to the guest star era, and then all of a sudden Archie Adventures comes out, and it's really, really good. And we start going, man, I feel like if I was a legitimate like adult in this era, I'd be like, Adventures is better than Mirage comics. And then we read that letter, remember, in Archie, where it's like, I've been reading Mirage since issue 1, and I'm a big fan, but I just read you now. And we're like, we were right. Like the adults in the era thought the same thing, or at least some of them did.
Some of them.
So, but I. I think issue 2 is gonna be the real business. I think absolutely. Now, unfortunately, guys, we're gonna wait 2 years in Turtle Soup time to do no. I couldn't.
Goodness,
that'd be the funniest thing in the world if we would have done this in '94. So obviously, we intended to put this into Image, or we would have done it 2 years ago in Turtle Soup time,
right?
But it'd be so funny to be like, and this is technically when it comes out. So, see you in 2 years.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know how many episodes we did between 94 and 96, but it was a ton of episodes.
It feels like
actually between that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah. But yeah, we're gonna come back obviously next week with Body Count number 2.
Yes.
But yeah, what do you think about this issue yourself? I mean, we love the emails. Leave comments on the video. It's always awesome.
Yep.
Are you a fan of that kind of Frank Quietly 60s counterculture 2000 AD style art, heavy metal? Are you a fan of that? Were you not a fan? Do you have experiences like M did, kind of being kind of a full grown adult in this era, and what was your perspective? Because we were literally 11 and 12. I would love to know what it felt like at the time. I've always wanted to know exactly how that felt. So let me know. turtlesoupshow@gmail.com. That's the hotline. The shell phone rings. It's the best way to get a hold of us, guys. It really is. It's sick. You can go to Instagram. You can go to Facebook. We have the Facebook group Hot Fire, everybody. You got to get on the Facebook group. That's where all this business goes down. We've got freaking Patreon. I want to stop and talk a minute about Patreon.
Do it.
Patreon's the best. And we super appreciate everybody who is on Patreon. You guys make the world go around for us. You literally fund all this stuff. It's amazing.
Yep.
And you don't have any actual idea how much you've actually advanced the show with just that little bit. So if you feel like you've got an extra $1 or $2, $5 hanging around, maybe even all the way up to $20 hanging around a month that you want to pitch into the show, we try to make the rewards worthwhile for you, and we try to make it happen. So go to patreon.com and check us out there. Also, we have our Turtles Come Out and Fight That email contest. We've gotten some awesome entries. We haven't really picked a time when we're going to close it, but I can't imagine it's going to be open for the evers. So
right, yeah.
If you haven't submitted it, it's our Turtles Come Out and Fight That contest. And if you're new to it, basically it's just a kind of write us a short email. Normally, y'all tell us hey, Turtles come out and fight this, and we tell you how they fight that. But this time we're flipping the script.
Right.
Now you got to tell us how the Turtles in your own universe, in your own headcanon, how the Turtles would come out and fight the end of the Turtles franchise in 1990, in the late 90s. How literally the cartoon's over. No more pepperoni sticks. The skateboards aren't selling anymore. Neca or Playmates is making Turtle in a Turtle play sets that look like a David Cronenberg nightmare. Things are going off the track. Image is running the Turtles, and they're we're gonna put titties, and it's all crazy. You have no idea what's happening right now. And how, if you're the Turtles, how do you stop your fade from relevancy?
How do
Email
you
us at turtlesoupshow.com and let us know how it happens. Now we're grading on obviously funniness, deep thought, brevity is very important. Don't need a million pages. If you can keep it a little shorter, it's pretty great. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, we got a comic.
Oh, that's right, we did.
Somebody, and you know who you are, you brilliant person, sent in an actual drawn, inked, and colored comic depicting exactly how the Turtles would come out and fight that. Okay, not saying you have to make a comic. Not saying. And I'll be honest. We're gonna weigh all these evenly. Don't think, oh well, the dude sent the comic in, so I'm not gonna win the contest. Honestly, bros, there could be multiple winners. We're really loose with this. We just want to see this, make a video out of it. We're gonna pick a winner, and there might even be runner-up prizes, and we're gonna try to get you some good Turtle Soup merch and do that thing. Okay, it just all kind of depends. It's a little freestyle, but I think that's about it. Is there anything I missed?
I don't think so.
Did I miss anything? TurtleSoupShow.com, the home of the internet. You can find all of our episodes on there, obviously. If you're not listening to YouTube, please come on and check it out. You know what I'm saying? We're live every Thursday, 8 o'clock. We get it in live every week. It's weekly soup. You get to see visuals. It's a great thing. If you are watching YouTube, thank you so much. No matter where you are listening or watching or whatever, a like, a subscribe could go a long ways.
It does.
Making sure other people see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's about it. You got anything else, Eric?
I don't think so. So, else time.
All right. Well, until next time. Else time. You had to screw me up like that, really? Come on.